My time in the attic was difficult. Not only was I very young, but I did not understand why I had to be hidden away. All I knew was that my ability held me back in some ways. It held me back from making friends with the other children. It held me back from learning with others. It held my mind back and caused me stress. Communicating with the moon goddess was a shoulder for me to lean on when I shouted that I could not go any further. When the desert sun boiled my back and the climb seemed too hard, she gave me a drink of water and threw me a rope. I counted on her, and for the most part she answered my calls. I remember some days more clearly than others. The winter months blend together, mix into one long day, while the summer months are chopped up by the hour. I watched the snow from my attic window, the rain, the leaves falling from the trees. I would watch the children dance in the white fluff, stomp into puddles, and toss bundles of browns, oranges, and reds into the sky. My memories faded, and I no longer remembered what it was like to scream, laugh, and play. No matter the season, the attic always had a shadow cast over it. When I was not in the attic, I was downstairs with my mother and father, mornings for breakfast and nighttime for dinner. My lunch was brought to me by my mother, who regularly had the Luna over, though I never knew why. I do remember one day when I was playing with my dolls, and I heard loud voices erupting from downstairs. My feet scurried to the window, and I watched as a man came rushing out the front door. My mother followed quickly behind him, shouting that she had nothing to hide, but clearly she did. She told him to stop coming here, that it was an invasion of privacy with no reason behind it. They could not prove anything. Although the scene confused me as a child, it makes too much sense to me now. The next day we left for grandmother's. I did not understand for a long time. Why was I kept separate? Why could I not attend lessons with the other children? Why did I have to be utterly, terribly, and outright alone? I try to make sense of it all now, and I do. My childhood was stolen by a man whose face I have never met a man so absolutely obsessed with seeking revenge. This stranger is turning my soul black with hatred. I hate him for snatching my early years. I hate him for ripping me away from my parents, and I hate him for making me jump every time there is a creak in the house. My mind is consumed by him, by this alpha. Why can I not live in peace? Why can I not grow with my mate without interruption? Why can I not escape him? All of this because of my ability, an ability I did not choose. I look out the window now and gaze into the trees. Night seeps around them as the sun drops west, replaced by the dim, dull moon. When I lay back and shut my eyes for the night, my mind conjures all kinds of terrors, and I cannot escape them. The forest floor is damp underneath my feet. Like a sponge, it sinks when I step, releasing a thick, dark liquid onto my toes. There is a dense fog engulfing the trees and brush, consuming whatever lay in its path. It sits in the air like a hefty smoke. I know it is here. I can feel it around me. I can smell the pungent stench that emits off of it. My nose scrunches from the foul reek and my eyes water. I am tired of running, tired of screaming and shouting for my parents and my mate, for they never come. The moon casts the spotlight down upon me, and I hold my breath, waiting for the beast to appear and for the chase to commence. This time, though, I am exhausted from the running, falling, and stumbling back up again. Defeat is standing before me, and I want to reach out and give in. What if I feed the beast, give it what it wants? What will happen? The worst outcome would be that I die in my dream and wake up. A low, rough growl grabs my attention, and I spin around. The beast is here. My eyes squeeze shut, and I swallow hard. The beast is coming closer. My hands wrap into fists at my sides. The beast is running. The beast is running towards me, sprinting with pounding steps. I cannot do it. I open my eyes, but it is too late. The beast pounces and digs its long, bent claws into my stomach, tearing through my flesh. I spring up in the bed, breathing heavy and sweating profusely. The feeling of my stomach being dug into haunts my skin, making my head spin and my stomach bubble up in protest. Hot tears run down my cheeks with no sign of stopping. Immediately, I shake Sebastian awake selfishly. Sebastian, I frantically whisper his name, Sebastian. He wakes in a matter of seconds. Evangeline, he breathes out. What's happening? Did you have another nightmare? I'm sorry I ramble. I didn't want to wake you, but the beast killed me. I let it kill me, and it tore open my stomach, and he hushes me and tugs me into his embrace. Familiar feelings rush through me, and I finally feel safe. It is in his arms, where nothing can touch me, where not even the alpha can penetrate my mind. An invisible barrier is built between the world and us, and not even my fears can bust through. Sebastian gently strokes my hair as I lay in his hold, willing to push past my anxiety and nerves to only be with him. It may be the adrenaline from my nightmare or the overwhelming sensation of protection, but I rest my head on his chest and breathe in his scent, his delicious, addictive scent that sends me into a state of complete assurance. My face does not flush multiple shades of pink and red, my body does not become hot and bothered, and my head does not overthink. I merely lay and savor the tranquility. Sitting in one of the chairs in front of Sebastian's desk, I watch him as he prepares for the call. This specific phone call is with a high member of my old pack, possibly the beta or even the alpha. We are both unsure of who will answer the phone, and if it is indeed the alpha, I may just fall out of my seat. The thought of hearing the monster's voice makes me sick to my stomach. Sebastian glances up at me, telling me that he is about to call. Remember, Evangeline, you are not here. Sebastian places the call on speaker so I can hear the conversation. My heart jerks when the ringing begins. Finally, an answer. Yes. The anonymous voice comes through and my eyes shoot up to my mate. Hello, this is Alpha Tate. May I ask who I am speaking with? This is Alpha Ken. I have to say, I was not expecting your call. May I ask the cause of it? The voice makes me suck in a sharp breath. Alpha Ken, that has to be the man. My Luna was part of your pack as a child, and she is interested in learning more about the pack currently. Would you mind if I ask a few questions? Sebastian says smoothly, as I view the entire ordeal on the edge of my seat. Shouldn't I be speaking with your Luna? The voice taunts me. Unexpectedly, Sebastian motions for me, and I panic. He cannot be serious. I cannot talk with that monster. When he motions for me again, I hesitate before standing up and wandering over. He grabs my hand and places me in front of the phone, his lips close to my ear. Hello, this is Evangeline. Thank you for taking the time to answer my questions. I repeat the words as Sebastian whispers them in my ear. I want to run away straight out of this room. If it was not for Sebastian's touch and him telling me what to say, I am sure that I would end the call and hide under a bed. Oh, don't you sound sweet, the alpha coos. Go ahead, ask away. I swallow and listen to Sebastian closely. How long have you held the alpha position? Almost 9 years. It is not him. The alpha that torments my family held position when I was a part of the pack 10 years ago. Relief takes over me, and I catch myself leaning against Sebastian. And you took over after your father, I ask Sebastian, reminding me that the conversation is not over. No, Alpha Ken corrects. I replaced my uncle. May I ask why you replaced him? You know, these questions are becoming quite specific when I believed you wanted to know about the entire pack. Suddenly, I pull away from Sebastian and place both my hands on the desk. Oh well, I'm sorry, I'm just a bit too curious, that's all. Excuse my digging, my voice is light and kind, something I must have picked up from Fiona. No, it's all right. My uncle, he became a tad too unstable for the position, and it was time someone fresh took over, he explains. And you treat your members well, only the best. And your uncle, where is he, I ask. The line goes silent for a moment, and I begin to feel nervous. Have I ruined our chances? Do you know my uncle Evangeline, the alpha, questions me, and I tumble into Sebastian's seat, sitting where he usually is at the head of the room. Well, he was the alpha when I was a part of the pack. I just want to know what he is doing now, if he still contributes. I have not seen him in years. After a few more questions to cover our real reason for calling, I set the phone down and look to Sebastian. He is leaning against the wall with his arms crossed, deep in thought. Well, at least we know he is nowhere near my old pack. At least he's no longer in power, I say softly, not wanting to disrupt the calm vibe of the room. Did I say the right things? Yes, he speaks up. You did well. I stand up from his chair and steadily approach him. Is everything all right? Yes, I am just thinking. About his eyes find mine. How I can nip this in the bud. Sebastian never clarified if he believes me or not, if he deems my ability to be the truth. He is taking my situation seriously, and that is enough for me. I do not care if he believes me anymore, because he cares enough to help me with my problem, to help put an end to this alpha so desperate to end my family line. This is not about my ability to him. This is about my safety. All this time he has strived to protect me, to make sure I am comfortable and happy. I do not need to know if he thinks this is all crazy and insane, because he cares enough to see past it. The bond between us grows stronger every day, pulling us closer together. The anxiety and intimidation I felt when we first met are withering away. After sharing my ability and the story from my grandmother with him, I am beginning to realize that he knows a significant amount about me and my past, yet he shares so little about himself. Later in the night, just before bed, I find myself sitting under the covers watching him. Sebastian, I grab his attention. Where are your parents? Why do you ask? He questions me while shutting off the light as if he does not want to carry on with the conversation. I am just curious to know more about you, about your family. My parents left. They are probably in California, he tells me briefly. I do not know where California is, but it sounds magical. His parents must be fulfilled there. They are rogues, technically yes, but they have alpha blood, so other werewolves will know that they are not just normal rogues. I nod. Do you miss them? No. Sebastian gets into the bed, but I refuse to lay down. Why's that? Because I don't. I cross my arms. And you call me frustrating. I can hardly see the rolling of his eyes in the light given from the moon. The tones of blue and green send a romantic cast over the room, but Sebastian's eyes keep me from fully admiring it. I'm sorry, Evangeline, he says half-heartedly. Now please lay down, get some sleep. But I wanted to talk about your suddenly. He pulls me down, keeping only an inch between our faces, our lips. My breath is caught in my throat, and Sebastian presses his lips to mine. It is unique, the feeling of a kiss. Sebastian's lips caress mine, sending an unforgettable sensation throughout my body. There is an ignition inside of me, and I have the opportunity to back away, to push myself off of him, but I cannot. Half of me is gripped on tight, not willing to put an end to the pleasant feeling on my lips and in the pit of my stomach. His hand rests on the side of my face, holding back any stray hairs from slipping down and interrupting. It is a gentle kiss, no force, just pure instinct. When it does come to an end, I find myself wanting more. There are no words spoken between us. Sebastian pulls me into his hold and continues to embrace me through the night. No nightmare or terror comes to me, but a dream instead. A dream about my mate, about our kiss, and so much more. My mind will not let go of the feeling. When we connected, it felt overwhelmingly right. As if my lips were only to be used by his, only to be enjoyed by him, and the other way around. I want to kiss again, to kiss every time I see his handsome face, or every time he avoids my questions, or every time we are laying in bed and about to drift off. Maybe I am addicted to the feeling. It is around 3 a.m. when a disruptive and firm knock breaks out on the other side of the bedroom door. My eyes fly open, and my heart hurtles from my chest. Sebastian's arms tenderly let go of me as he gets up and walks to answer it. It all seems like part of my dream, that the bedroom door has now become the front door. Who is here for a visit today? I steadily sit up and rub my knuckles into my eyes. When Sebastian opens the door enough to reveal little, the light from the hallway trickles in. Andrew, what is it? His voice is rough, making me pay attention. I only hear murmurs of Andrew's voice, not enough to make out words. Who was it? Sebastian glances back at me and I straighten up. I have to go, he says, and I swiftly climb out of bed. I'm coming with you. Evangeline. I locate the robe and wrap it around my body. I'm coming with you. Unless you are suddenly charging into battle, he sighs. I grab Sebastian a shirt and hand it to him at the door. He takes it and lets me through. Andrew greets me and the 3 of us head out of the house. The temperature outside seems to be merely freezing, so I stay close to my mate and keep my arms close to my body. Where are we going? To the west border, Andrew informs me. There has been a killing. A killing. Who was killed? I look up at Sebastian. A guard, a man I trusted. Andrew explains further. You could say he was our most valuable guard, someone with substantial experience. The moon glares down at us as the frigid breeze strokes my cheeks. The night seems darker, the stars are sparse, and gloomy clouds cover our only source of light. Is he here? Is he watching? It is quiet around us, the only significant sounds being that if our footsteps through the damp grass. My ears wait for the crack of a twig or the rustle of a brush. You can go back, Sebastian tells me. No. I have a feeling that this happened because of me. The leaves are wet and molded together. It had rained, but I did not hear the pattering in my sleep. The atmosphere clings to my skin, cold, soggy, and thick. Andrew peers back at us, most likely confused by my words. How could Evangeline be the cause of a man's death? The closer we get, the tighter my chest grows. Soon we are engulfed by the trees and other voices reach my ears. My chest hurts. Andrew brings us up to a group of 5 men guards as they all surround one thing, a body. Their eyes fixate on their alpha, the ringleader, before falling upon me. I can almost hear the questions floating in their heads. Why is she here? Who is she? What does she have to do with this? I know the answer, but it would take a while to explain. My eyes find the courage to eventually look towards the body, seeing dark, almost brown liquid, staining his skin and the grass beneath. The man is nude but covered in specific areas. The smell of death and blood is potent, yet I seem to be the only one affected by it. The body is mutilated. If I had known the man before, I would not be able to recognize him now. It is as if the beast has gotten him and has torn into his stomach. There are gashes along the body deep enough to give my eyes a view of the inner workings. I cannot help but look away. It is all too gruesome, too grim. I grab Sebastian's hand, letting the relaxing sensations cleanse me. "Evangeline, I think it is best if you go," he tells me. "It's because of me, isn't it? Because of me a man is dead," I say all too loudly. The guards turn to me again, this time no longer covered by solemn expressions. "All right," he says lowly, "I think you better go back to the house. Calm down, go back to bed. I want to stay, I want to cling to him, but the smell of slaughter is drawing me away. This man did not deserve to die, but he did because I am here. The Alpha knows where I am, and he no longer needs to ask questions. My feet carry me back through the trees, but I can hardly focus. Like in my dream, they seem to sway and blend, then sway apart again. My knees buckle, and I grip a near tree to steady myself. I had never seen a dead body before. The smell, the sight, it's sickening, and even more sickening because I caused it. I can no longer hold it down, the contents of my stomach empty onto the forest floor. My head spins as I hunch over. "I did this," I croak into the dense air. "This death is not your burden," her voice wraps around me. "They're after me, I know it. They're going to kill everyone until they get to me. Obsession is a weak man's game." I look up at the moon goddess. Is he going to kill me? She glows amongst my gray surroundings as if the moon is primarily focused on her. Death comes to those who are unwilling to fight. You are willing, Evangeline. I'm not a killer. My grandmother fought back and she ended up stabbing the man in his chest. You are not your grandmother. I'm worse, I mutter and stand up. Death, it did not even affect the others at all, even my mate was straight-faced. They have seen it all too many times, perhaps. I looked like a fool, a weak girl, who had to cover her eyes from the reality in front of her. A truth that she molded with her own bare hands, finishing the work of her mother and grandmother before her. I make my way out of the trees and towards the house. Now would be an excellent time to strike, would it not? I am all alone. The Alpha is distracted along with many guards. Why does he not just get it over with? Why does he have to kill others as if there is an army before me? Does he savor the chase? The house is quiet, not a creak or bump. I shrug off the robe and hang it back in its place before shutting the curtains. The door is closed, and I have a view of everything around me, not giving a chance to hidden crevices. I leave the light on, knowing that if I fall asleep, the beast will attack me. There is no place that I am safe besides my mate's arms, which is dangerous. I sit in the bed with my head in my hands, tempted to lay back and close my eyes. It is not worth the nightmares, especially if Sebastian is not here when I wake up, sweating and pale. My eyes begin to burn from the bright artificial light. I shield it away with my hands and peer to my lap. I hate the power he has over me, for I cannot sleep alone anymore, and he probably loves it. Stupidly, I fall back against my pillow and stare up at the ceiling, self-sabotaging. I will not fall asleep without Sebastian. I will stay awake and wait for him to come back. This man, he is making me depend on my mate, I say out loud to keep myself awake. He is making me weaker. I used to venture around the forest alone without a care in the world, and now I can't even sleep alone. I can't sit in a room for over 5 minutes and not look out all of the windows. He is turning me into my mother. Arguing with myself is what I have come to. It would be selfish to hope for Sebastian to hurry back. Am I in that dire need of him enough to steal him away from a dead man? I take a deep breath and close my eyes. My thoughts whirl around in my head like a carousel ride, and I am strapped to it. I spin with the chaos until suddenly the ride stops and I find myself slipping into a risky slumber. The current of warm water beats repetitively on my back. My hair sticks to my neck like a heavy blanket, and the water travels through it, then down my spine. The water has washed away any trace of tears and panic from my muted face. My eyes watch my feet. My mind is cluttered with memories and images, none of them in the correct order. It was horrific. The beast has already killed me, and I stared as it tore apart my mate. He screamed, but I could not get to him. I was lying dead on the forest floor. He did not see me, but I watched as he begged for his life. I watched as he was refused. No matter how hard I convinced myself that none of it was real, tears still drop and join the powerful rays rushing past me. I did not know what to do, so I stripped off my clothes and stepped into the shower. It was like seeing a limb being cut from my own body, feeling each stab and slice as the blade works through my skin muscle and finally hits bone. I hated it. I hated every second. His emerald eyes continue to haunt me as they plead for mercy. My mind cannot seem to grasp that it did not happen as everything felt dreadfully real. I lean against the shower wall and absently shut off the water, leaving myself cold. When I step out and change my clothes, I take a deep breath before returning to the bedroom. Mentally, I do not want to. It reminds me of the state I was in after waking. Evangeline Sebastian is standing at the foot of the bed, and I inhale greatly. Sunlight pours through the windows, which it did not before. Yes. When did you wake up? He asks, and sits down on the bed, crinkling the covers. Around 4. I wasn't very tired when I got back. 4 o'clock, Sebastian repeats. We left at 3. I came back, fell asleep for a bit, and woke up at 4. He runs a hand through his beautiful hair. Seeing him makes the images leave my mind, freeing me from their temporary chains. Haven't we been over this? Over what? The fact that you are a terrible liar? I cross my arms. Well, maybe you just excel in catching lies. It was a dream again. It couldn't go back to sleep afterward. I'm sorry I didn't think when I told you to go back without me. The concern in his eyes makes me curse myself. You shouldn't have to. He sighs. You have to get more sleep. I'll stay with you. No. You probably have a lot to do with what happened. I'll be fine. I'll distract myself. Henry and I walk around outside as he refuses to stay in and rest his ankle. He is the only bandaged one among us, for my head has healed to a point where a wrap is no longer needed. The grass is dry and we travel through it on a random path to nowhere. Henry wanted to come outside and enjoy the last bit of fall before winter comes and coats the grass white with its harsh winds and ondings. Today the weather is nice, not too cold, as if the sun has decided to shine one last time before night takes over. I did not look out the window this morning. This morning I realized something. If this alpha is going to come for me, there is no point in hiding. He has killed an innocent man, and I am sure he is willing to commit such a crime again. Staring paranoid out a window will not keep me any more safer than I am outside. It is silly to believe that walls will keep the danger out. Danger always finds a way to creep in and attack from behind. When you are least expecting it, that is when. I notice Henry studying my face. You look tired. Did you fight and sleep apart? I roll my eyes playfully, though I do not feel playful at all. I feel crummy, worn out, and irritable, like a child who has been kept awake for too long. I didn't sleep well last night, that's all. I heard about what happened last night. I heard that you went along, he tells me, reminding my nostrils of the unforgettable smell. Was that your first time seeing a dead person? Yes. This may surprise you, but I haven't had the chance before. Sarcasm drips from my voice. You wanted to come out here only to walk. Not that you can do much anyway, but we're right beside the house. Sebastian asked me not to go on any adventures until I'm fully healed up. Amused, I smile while watching his face. And you listen to him, don't you? Well, yes, but he is my mate. I know he only wants the best for me and you, but your brothers. How can you obediently follow? He probably knows what's best, so I might as well listen. It would be hard to move around in the forest anyway, and if anything were to happen, I wouldn't be able to get away like I did last time, he admits, realizing the points behind his brother's orders. He spends more time thinking, I spend more time doing. I might be in that boat with you. Oh, but you'll have to learn to think things over before you act upon them. You're the Alpha's mate, the Luna, he brags as if he has gotten away scotch-free. And you don't know because I don't have any official title, hence no official authority, so I get to act right away. I sigh and cross my arms jokingly. Well, that's not fair. What if I want to act recklessly? You can't. You're the Alpha's mate, he chants. If you weren't injured, I would push you over. I don't feel like leadership material. I'm not courageous, witty, charismatic, mindful, strategic, ruthless, Henry cuts in. Yes, I'm not ruthless. Does it bother you that Sebastian, as I stop walking and glance up at Henry? His eyes are gazing somewhere else. He does what he has to do, what he feels is necessary. Henry looks back at me. People change each other. What does that have to do with anything? It's just a thought. We turn around and head back towards the house. The temperature for the day has reached its peak, and soon it will come tumbling down in preparation for the night. The leaves on the trees are blown about, sending a whooshing sound whispering through the air. What will happen to the body? What do they do with it? I ask him. They might bury him if he has no family. If he does, the family will decide. I hope he has a family. Me too. The house draws closer until I find myself climbing up the steps and entering with Henry at my side. Marina is in the kitchen preparing for dinner, and I sit and watch her from the counter, never looking out the window once. Henry chats casually as I lean back and observe. I could have been that man last night, cold and alone with no family to bicker over what to do with my body. No sobbing and uncontrollable emotions surging through them as I lay empty. If I stayed with grandmother, would I have died alone? What if there was never a pull convincing me to cross the stream? What if my grandmother passed and left me to perish slowly until an abrupt and final end? I am hoping that the man did not feel this way. I am hoping that he was surrounded by friends, if not family, before the attack. It is always easy to convince yourself that the positive option is the truth, but it is easier to believe that he did indeed die entirely alone. It is even easier to trust that I would have to. The house is empty. My grandmother is gone. 2 guards wait outside as I roam through the vacant space. Everything is still here, the furniture, some clothes, food. It is like she just disappeared. Right when I came through the door and called through the house, realizing that she is not here, I panicked almost to the point of an attack. Immediately I blame it on the Alpha, as my mind cannot conjure up any other guilty man. After shouting at the guards to search the area for her, I scavenge for a note, possibly saying that she has gone away. Once I find none, tears spring to my eyes and my heart squeezes tightly in my chest, the pounding shielding any other sounds from slipping in. What if he took her? What if he killed her? The thoughts rush as if the dam holding them back finally broke. The house is silent besides the frantic sounds of my breathing mixed in with a sob every few seconds. I fall to my knees and hide my face with my hands. He is watching me, isn't he? He's enjoying the scene of me in shambles. I continue to cry on the floor, feeling defenseless. A sudden anger bubbles up inside and I feel my cheeks flush with heat. Promptly, I get up and hurry up the stairs. My bedroom door is cracked open and I push it the rest of the way, showing a bedroom I once used to recognize. Everything is in the same spots as before, nothing moved an inch, but I feel like I no longer belong here. Glaring out the window, I search for something, my grandmother, the Alpha, anything. Extremely frustrated, I rip my bedding off of the mattress and shout when it will not let go. Heading into her bedroom, I scan the area again. Being as thorough as I can be, my hands fist my hair when I find nothing in return. My chest rises and falls dramatically as I fly back down the stairs and rush outside. One of the guards is running towards the house. "Did you find her?" I yell, but he replies with an expected, "No." "Would you like me to get the Alpha?" I hesitate. Yes, please get him." The other guard must still be searching, and I watch until the messenger disappears into the trees. They watch me, they witness all, and they must be laughing at me now. These towering beings see everything that happens in this forest, every death, every plead, and it is all embedded in their trunks. If you hold your palm against the bark, you may just be whispered the secrets they keep. They will tell you how a foolish girl stumbled onto taken land, and they will confess how she ended up getting everyone killed. If you are lucky enough, you just may hear a cry. I sulk back into the house and slowly close the door behind me. My back is against it, the wood being the only thing keeping me up, and I stare into the hotbed of memories. Her scent is sparse in the air. The open cabinets, the missing clothes, the sense of trepidation, it all shows the effects of a story that I may never hear. The curtains are pulled shut when they are usually all the way open, left that way so the house is never gloomy. It all hints to one final answer, an answer I cannot get my hands on. Did she also fear his stalking eyes? Did he force his way in? Did she leave in a hurry? "Where are you?" I murmur. My hands curl around the fabric before tugging the curtain open, letting a filtered ray of the drab light show through. Minuscule dust particles swirl in the air, dancing in the gleam, adding to the empty feeling and aroma of the space. I hate it, feeling like I never grew up here. It is a different place now that my grandmother is not here. It is no longer a haven or opportunity to be free, but an abandoned house lost in the center of an observing wood. The second step to the porch no longer means anything without my grandmother. A decade of my life is gone, vanished. A desolate hole lays in the timeline of my life, a period that taught me so much forgotten about. My grandmother would not just leave me on purpose. There has to be a reason. My fingers trail along the back of the couch, thinking back to when we spoke only a few days ago in this exact spot. She told me everything I needed to know. A sudden rustling from outside causes my ears to perk up, and I swiftly open the door, expecting to see Sebastian or the guard. When no one immediately comes into view, I try to look further out. Nothing. Evangeline off to the side, I see Sebastian coming over with the guard close behind him. What's going on? He calls to me, and I hurry over. My grandmother, she's gone. She's not in the house. She's not in the forest. It's bizarre and something happened, I know it, I ramble. She wouldn't leave without a purpose. I looked through the entire house and I couldn't find anything. He turns to the guard and tells him to continue searching, and then he leads me back inside. Once the door is closed behind us, I feel all my emotions surfacing again. I can't do this anymore. He's getting to me, Sebastian, and I can't take it anymore. With the nightmares, the dead body, my grandmother missing, I can't take it anymore. There is not one day where he is not either tormenting me in here, I point to my head, or out there. All I want to do is find him and kill him. I don't care how many people are in my way, he cannot take my grandmother from me. What's next, huh? Is he going to try and take you too? Evangeline, please, do not tell me to calm down. My grandmother is probably dead, my parents are probably dead, and it's all because of this Alpha, who I'm not even sure is real. All because of what, an ability I can't even prove. Tears of fury stream down my face. He's going to take you from me. He's going to take you from me. He's going to take everyone until I am all alone and defenseless, so I can die knowing that I'll have no one. Sebastian roughly places both of his hands on either side of me, forcing my eyes to look up at his handsome face. No matter how loudly I shout, he does not seem visibly affected, turned away. Take a breath. I obey. Now nothing can be done if you waste time yelling and crying about it. I know this may seem harsh, and I am only telling you this because I care about you, but you have to stop panicking. Your grandmother is missing and you're scared, so what are you doing to do about it? I swallow. I'm going to relax and think. Yes, think before you act. You sound like Henry. I let a small smile appear on my face as I clear the tears from my cheeks. He says that you think before you act, and I have to. Finally, he says something useful, Sebastian jokes in a brotherly way. See, you are relaxing. You cannot conquer with a clouded mind. Killing someone is so intimate, so personal, and the words simply tumbled out of my mouth. This man, could I do it? The hurting part of me, maybe the part that shoved all those words from my lips just moments ago. Surely it is easier to imagine myself ending the life of the beast in my nightmares, but a man, the begging will most likely break me. To think I held a gun to my head only a while ago. If my grandmother heard what I said, I do not know what she would think. It is possible that she might understand, being that the Alpha probably stole her away and is currently making her suffer. I should not think in such ways, but my mind seems to only think of the negative possibilities. It is much easier to imagine them, especially with all this violence crowding around me lately, though technically I am bringing it to myself. Sometimes I catch myself imagining what it would be like to have met Sebastian and have no worries like the ones prodding at me now. Would I know him better? Would he be more open without all this stress? I internally sigh and shake the ideas from my head. There is no use in daydreaming. After hesitantly leaving the house, I agree to go back to pack territory. Sebastian is keeping guards on the lookout, and some taking time here and there to search further. Guilt surges through me. I should be looking for her, yet unlike the trained guards, it would not take much to bring me down. Sebastian convinces me that if she is around, that they will find her and bring her back to me. I trust him, but part of me still wants to run through the forest yelling her name. It must be the most dangerous idea I have come up with yet, as the Alpha and his minions could be roaming on the unclaimed land. The concept that he has people working for him is ultimately my theory. Nothing proved at all. It makes sense to me, though. It answers my question of how I am constantly watched. The Alpha has to sleep, or at least I think so. Someone must take over for him. Or he could be something more beastly than a werewolf. What if he needs no sleep? What if he is really some sort of monster? My head is getting to me. It is not the Alpha who needs a night's rest, it is me. The next day, I find myself creeping into Sebastian's office to take my mind off of my grandmother. I am not sure I am allowed to be in here alone, so I make my mission quick and locate the book Henry told me about. Second bookcase, 2 shelves down with a green cover. The words are jumbled up with the rest of my memories. Lycanthrope mythology, the book cover reads in a delicate calligraphy. Quickly I take it and return to the living room. The book looks to be decades old, definitely passed down through generations. Now that I think about it, almost all the books in Sebastian's office seem to be aged and fragile. I gently open the book up and scan the pages. Distractions are everywhere, as so many interesting topics flash by each page, and I find it difficult to focus on my own myth. Finally, I locate it and begin to read. Most of it revolves around the moon goddess, which I expected. It continues to go on about how a woman could link herself to the goddess through an extremely dated ritual. After this, the woman and her daughters would keep this connection. The connection consists of the ability to converse and visually see the moon goddess, which is accurate, but then it talks about harnessing her powers. I suppose they could not get everything right. Maybe that is why the Alpha is so threatened by us. If somehow he read something like this, then he might believe I have the moon goddess's power to take over. I knew just communicating could not be enough. It would be nice to be a goddess so mystical and poised, intelligent and gorgeous, though I harness none of her powers, and if I did, I am sure I would know by now. If we did have even a smidge of her abilities, my mother and I could be together again. This Alpha would not be a problem, as getting rid of him would be a breeze. If only. The book keeps my attention as I wait for somebody to come back with news on my grandmother. The other myths are astounding, and it makes me wonder if they are also true. One of them being the Moonlight Wolves, a pack that existed way back whose members were immortal, recharging themselves under the moon's luminous glow. Though I doubt this one, it entertains me and fills me with a childlike wonder. I see why Henry reached for this book now. What are you reading? Glancing up from the thick pages, I see Sebastian standing in front of me. My mind is so consumed with the stories that I did not notice him come in, which is rare. This book about myths. Henry told me about it since he found my ability in it. And what myth are you? He sits down beside me as I flip back to the page. It's called The Daughters of the Moon Goddess. I hand him the book and he looks over the pages. Some of it is true, but most of it is not. Daughter of the Moon Goddess, he murmurs almost to himself. Well, that explains your beauty now, doesn't it? Color stains my cheeks. Well, I thank you. He looks up at me directly into my eyes, only making the color more vibrant. My thoughts on kissing get cut short by Marina telling me that dinner is ready. Later in the night, I take the book upstairs with me and place it on the bedside table. Maybe if I get another nightmare, I can read and let the book distract me. I do not find myself needing the book, though, as Sebastian takes me in his arms again, holding me close enough to make my eyes flutter shut in a few minutes. The curtains are open and the crevices are free for shadowy figures, but I could care less. Not only have I given up on my extreme paranoia, but in Sebastian's arms I have no fears, no worries whirling through my mind. In his arms everything is peaceful. My thoughts on killing flee my mind, freeing me of the heavy chains. Tonight there is no death in my dreams, only eternal life. Please tell me you've found something, I ask the guard as they return from the latest and most likely the last search. The guard tells me the usual and my shoulders fall disappointed and weighed down by worry. I could take this information two ways. The first is that she could still be alive, and the second is that she could be high above us. As always, it is easier to visualize the second. Are you sure you found nothing? How far out did you go? The guard looks down at me, pitying my desperation. We went out farther than the last time and saw nothing but forest. I'm sorry, Luna. Where is Sebastian heading in the guard's direction? I find my mate close by, talking with Andrew. He notices me, most likely seeing the depression in my expression and movements, so he must know that she was not found. Nothing again, I tell them. The guards went even further this time. Evangeline, knowing what he is going to say, I interrupt him. No, it's all right. They have been searching for days, almost 2 weeks. I should have seen this coming after the first. These last 2 weeks felt more like 2 months. Though I am able to combat the dreams, my thoughts are littered with the Alpha and what he has done to her. None of them are pleasant. Most of them leave me trembling. It is during times like these when I wish I had more control over my mind. Throughout these weeks, I have managed to distract myself a couple of times, one of them being with Fiona. She came over to the house and we talked more about the city, which is something she is very familiar with. Henry would have loved to join the conversation, yet he was off with Bruiser. After a while, we switched to the topic of my grandmother, which I wanted to avoid at first, but once the words left me, it felt good to get it all off my chest. Not only is Fiona skilled at conversing, but she is a keen listener as well. She did not tell me that my grandmother is going to be okay, and she did not tell me that she is probably dead. Fiona simply listened. It was a difficult conversation to have without Fiona knowing about the Alpha and all the details, but she did not seem to mind. A few days later, I spent a lot of time with Marina, who is a fascinating person now that I have taken the time to get to know her. She has been a part of the Tate Pack for as long as she has lived, which intrigued me. Answering my questions, Marina explained how she lost her father during an attack. He was a guard and died as a result of Alpha Tate wanting to be the strongest pack in history. This was Sebastian's grandfather, which explains the result of his father. I was angry with the alpha. I wanted him dead, she told me. My father died because of that man's selfish decisions, and being around your age, I thought I couldn't do anything about it. So I didn't. I was stronger than I thought, and it fulfills me to know that you see the power in yourself. I hear things you know, and I may not know everything, but whatever is tormenting you, I know you can handle it. Her words had a great effect on me. After that day, I felt more confident, more determined to fix everything. My grandmother's disappearance has created another mountain on my path, but I cannot let her down by losing myself trying to make my way around it. There is a chance that one right move will trigger a chain reaction. Towards the end of this 2-week period, I had taken Sebastian's advice and thought before acting upon my ideas. My greatest desire is to stop this alpha, end his obsession, and strive to pin my grandmother, my mother, and I down. The only problem is I have no clue how I am going to achieve this. He is always watching, but I can never catch him, I can never see him. Guards have been searching the forest, and the only result of it was a spooked man and a dead one. The guard who got away did not supply us with any helpful descriptions, even if it was the alpha, or not remembering my theory that people may be helping him is vital. At first I believed that he wanted me dead, but that does not explain why I am not already killed. Surely he could have done it by now. His frightening dedication conveys that, so why is he holding back? Is the alpha waiting for something specific to happen? There are too many unanswered questions, and I do not know how to begin solving them. The Alpha Ken provided me with the facts that he is no longer in power and that no one has seen him in years. Maybe he can give me more. Maybe I can work with him. There is a possible chance he will not want to work against his uncle, but he did not sound too proud of him on the phone. If there is a chance that we can work together, I will take it. With my idea fresh in mind, I hurry outside and across the packland to where Sebastian told me he would be with Andrew. After my disappointment yesterday, this will definitely give me hope. Instead of finding Sebastian, I come upon 2 rather large wolves tackling, tossing, and growling at each other. With another minute, I recognize Sebastian's scent, telling me that he has to be one of the wolves. Their battle looks to be nothing other than a game. Coming closer, I catch myself in a laugh when one lunges towards the other but meets the patchy grass with a thud. The 2 notice me and put an end to their match, and when they shift back, I look away with rosy cheeks. "Keep trying, buddy," I hear Sebastian's voice. Glancing back, I see my mate clothed walking alongside Riker. I do not waste a second before spilling my idea. "Sebastian," I rush to him. "I know what I want to do about the alpha." Riker leaves us, and Sebastian gives me the go-ahead. "All right, let's hear it. I want to work with Alpha Ken if he can. He knows the most about the alpha, and I think with his help I can put pieces together and figure this all out. Maybe I can call him, tell him about everything, and he'll open up more. Maybe I can visit the pack, since I don't expect him to come here, and I can learn more that way." Sebastian looks uneasy. "I don't know, Evangeline. I can't trust him." "But we called him before. Calling is different than visiting, and going by yourself is a definite no." Not willing to give up, I continue on. "I won't go myself then. I can go with guards like I did when walking to my grandmother's. They can stay with me, watch over me, protect me if anything happens. Please, Sebastian." I grab his hand and use a similar face to the one I persuaded my grandmother with. This one is less childish, though. "Please. I need to learn more about him. I'll think about it," he says. "In the meantime, call and ask. You don't even know if you are welcome yet." "All right, I will. Thank you." I wish I could read his mind, at least then I will know what he is thinking. I cannot help but believe there is another part of him that I have yet to uncover. I know the protective, intimidating side of him, but there has to be another. The side that knows why he does not miss his parents, the side that trusts, the side that he keeps so deeply hidden from me, that is the one I want to reveal. Sadly, I tend to have too many ambitions at once. Focusing on them all is hard. I locate the phone number on a piece of paper with other detailing on it. The paper is in the same corner it was before, held securely underneath the phone itself. Taking it, I also grab the phone and dial in the digits before I become too anxious. All in one breath, I hold the phone to my ear and squeeze my hands into fists at the familiar ringing sounds. "Alpha Tate, you call again." I suck in a gulp of air. "This is Evangeline," Luna. "Oh, Evangeline, yes, of course," his voice picks up. "More questions?" "No, actually. I have a favor to ask." And what could that be? Alpha Ken sounds like a tricky man, one who finds pleasure in playing with people, feeding off of their needs. I know I am about to make myself vulnerable, giving him the power to say yes or no, but I do not have a choice at the moment. I need your help. It has to do with your uncle. "Ah. Am I about to discover why you held such interest in him?" Almost every sentence that leaves his mouth is a question which makes me feel things I do not know how to label. Yes, it is a long story. I need to know more about him, how he thought, how he acted, what he believed. I was hoping I could come for a visit. Being an alpha and all is demanding work, but maybe you could find some time for me. I suppose I could dig up some time for you and a visit. It would be lovely to meet you. Will your mate be joining? No. He is quite busy. It would be a few of my guards and me, I explain, not worried by his suggestive question. Well, all right. When should I be expecting you? I did not think it would be so easy. An exchange of questions and sentences, and suddenly I have the approval to visit Alpha Ken. All I have to do now is convince Sebastian that I will be safe and sound in the presence of said Alpha, which I am expecting to be challenging half of my conquest. The idea came to me so abruptly that I skipped over my newly learned lesson of thinking before acting. It would have been selfish thinking, but thinking overall. I am incredibly eager to leave tomorrow if all goes right, but I did not go over the concept to returning to my old pack, the pack where I was hidden away for most of my days. Obviously no one will recognize me, but I do not want similar feelings to bury themselves in my head again, ones of loneliness and unworthiness. Is there a chance that my parents could be there? Could they have gone back? It is a minuscule chance, but one overall. Since the Alpha has stayed away from the pack, maybe they saw it fit to return. It is a hopeful and nerve-wracking thought that I do not know how to process. What if I see them again? My good idea has turned into something sour tasting. Am I going to continue with it? Of course. Soon enough, night casts over me as I stand in the kitchen alone. Marina has gone home, and the moon's eerie glow seeps around me, making the countertops look bleached. The window is wide open, and I stare out of it, though not looking for stalking eyes this time. Where is she? I ask, the moon goddess cutting straight to the point. I've been patient. She talks to you, so where is she? I am afraid that I cannot share her private exchanges. My eyes harden on her as she tends to illuminate the room. What do you mean you can't? Since when have rules been established? It has always been this way. You simply did not know of others like you. I gawk at her. What if she's in danger? What if she's dead? Maybe you will feel it. Maybe isn't good enough. I feel a lot of things right now, and one of them is an annoyance. Her beautiful eyes cease to judge me. Evangeline. Turning to the doorway, I notice Sebastian coming inside, and the moon goddess swiftly leaves me. Is everything all right? He asks. What are you doing down here alone? He must be assuming my paranoia is returning as I was facing the window and staring out into the forest very harshly. I was just waiting for you to get back. I called Alpha Ken and he said I could visit, that we could talk about the Alpha, his uncle. Sebastian nods absently and stands beside me now, looking out into the night sky himself. Is it selfish to want you to stay? I'll be safe. I'll have the guards and protection from, not because of safety, because I'll simply miss you. Maybe it is the sudden rush of acceptance or desire through my body, but I find it difficult to look at him, and if I do, I may just act before thinking it over. I would feel the same if I was in your position. Even if it is only for a few days, I will miss you too, but it's for the best for time together, with no worries or fear. In one quick and smooth motion, Sebastian tilts my head up, so my eyes have no choice but to connect with his, exposing myself. He says nothing before gently placing his lips on mine, bringing back the pleasant feelings I have only felt once before. Now somewhat familiar with the process, I too move my lips along with his, following his lead as he takes over my mind and bleeds inside of me. It is not the same as before this kiss. This connection is clouded with impulse and craving. What started off as soft and delicate has now molded into something hungry. I have gone from a step to a leap. He guides me, and unexpectedly my back bumps into something cold and hard. My palm presses against it, recognizing the surface to be the refrigerator. Sebastian pulls away only enough so that our lips barely brush against each other. I would do anything for you, Evangeline, he murmurs against me. I would kill for you. Maybe it is our dark surroundings or the fire lit inside of me, but part of me is fueled by his words, ignited by the idea of a man killing for my protection. This animalistic side is being fed, and it grows. Really, I mumble after another brief and aching kiss. Yes, easily. The darkness drips out of me and pools on the floor, drowning us in the vast inky pit of manipulation. This half of me cannot be repressed anymore. She is dying to be free, to be released from the cage inside. Sebastian's hand grips her back and pushes her body against his, making us as close as we can be. His lips leave mine cold as he trails hot, damp kisses down her neck, making me bite the inside of my cheek to stop my mind from giving in. "Sebastian," I whisper. "Don't stop," she begs. My head begins to feel dizzy. "Wait, no," I mumble, and he backs off of me. Leaning against the refrigerator, I grab on to steady myself. "Are you all right?" His face is cluttered with concern, but I shake my head. "I think I'm going to pass out." Immediately, he sits me down at the counter and I press my cheek to the chilled, sleek stone, letting it refresh my spinning head. My eyes close as I greedily take in the coolness, enjoying the sensation against my warm skin. "I'm sorry," I say lowly. "I'm a little overwhelmed, I think." My head leans against the window as the events from last night come back to haunt me. Everything is a little fuzzy, but I can recall my embarrassing actions quite clearly. The kissing, the intense feelings, the headache, it was all horrifying, though I did enjoy the kissing very much. I cannot help it, the mate bond has me tightly in its hold. The bond will surely give me a hard time these next few days as Sebastian is painfully far from the Kenpack. I wonder if he will be able to sleep because I know that I will be tossing and turning for most of the dreadful night. My anxiety is already continuously reminding me of the nightmares, since Sebastian will not be here to shield me from it all. Saying goodbye was a hurdle, and I almost did not make it over. This is the first time we will ever be apart for more than half a day, and the realization of being on my own is making my foot tap rapidly. The feeling of his kiss and embrace still lingers on my skin, making me grasp onto it for as long as I can muster. It was not a quick goodbye. The entire morning felt like one giant wave-off. I was anticipating it ever since I managed to fall asleep the night before. Sebastian insisted we take a car instead of a shifted travel, as the public roads are much safer than unclaimed forest. I had only been in a car once before when my parents were dropping me off at grandmother's. We parked on the side of a road quite similar to the one I am on now, and they lead me through the dense trees until we reach the house. I wonder where that car is now. Taking my head off the window, I fall to my side along the back seats and try to rest my eyes. 2 guards sit up front, the ones who are watching over me at the Kenpack, and I trust them to get us there safely. After politely asking if that is indeed a window on the roof, I ask for the cover to be pushed back so I can stare at the sky. All of it looks like a blue blur with other white blurs sparsely splattered about, and it is not as entertaining as I hoped it to be. Maybe if it was night, maybe then I could look up at the stars and the moon. "How long is the drive to the Kenpack?" "Around 3 hours. Luna," one of the guards kindly informed me. I do not remember such a long drive from when I was a child. We have probably been in the car for only 20 minutes, and I already feel a longing for my mate. Hopefully Alpha Ken can distract me from the saddening thoughts with much-needed information on his uncle. It is, after all, why I am leaving my mate in the first place, so I can live with him without having a fear of being killed every day, waiting for it to happen in a pit of paranoia. I already miss his voice, his smile, which I see rarely, and the secure feeling of having his arms wrapped around me. I cannot blame all of these feelings on the mate bond anymore, as I am very guilty. After last night, we both went upstairs, and in the 15 minutes it takes for us to get ready for bed, he must have asked me if I was okay 10 times. He wanted to call the doctor, but I convinced him that I was all right. The doctor is here so often that with one more visit he will think we are purposely trying to become ill. After this, he thought I should wait a couple of days until leaving, which also took a fair bit of convincing. I managed to fall asleep in the car, and before I know it, a soft hand is tapping on my arm. "Luna, we're here." "I told you not to wake her up." A whispering voice scolds the other. "What are we supposed to do? Wait until she wakes up? That could be tomorrow." "I don't know." My eyes flutter open, and instead, complete daylight, I see an orange sky ahead of me. The 2 guards hit each other when they notice my awakening. "Are we here?" I mumble and wearily sit up. "Yes, we just arrived in front of the Alpha's home." "The Alpha's home." The guard nods. "We got orders to arrive at this exact location." I blink a few times and stretch out my arms. "Well, all right then." One of the guards hurries out and opens the door for me. I give him a smile before heading towards the front door. As of now, the ground feels the same, nothing too different from home. No memories are being triggered. Then again, I did not get out much as a young child. I knock on the door and anxiously wait a few steps away. The guards are standing a couple feet behind me, giving me some much-needed space. If I vomit, they will be out of view. The door opens and a pretty woman is standing before me. "Alpha, it's the Luna you were talking about. She's here," the woman calls back into the house. "Hello, I'm Gemma." "Hello. Evangeline," I introduce myself. It is quite awkward before who I am assuming is Alpha. Ken comes rushing to the door. He is handsome and in his 30s, which changes my mind on Gemma being his possible daughter. Are you mates, I ask? Nope, she smiles before Alpha Ken shoos her out of the house. Was she your friend? No, he tells me distractedly as he shuts the front door behind my guards. Finally, he turns to me, and we start a proper greeting. It is lovely to meet you finally. You have a lovely voice, and I knew it would only lead to a more lovely person. One of my guards cough. I didn't know that I would be staying with you, I break the small period of silence. Well, of course, the house is surely big enough, isn't it? Yes, I didn't mean, he interrupts me without noticing. How about I show you to a guest room, you get all settled in, and then we can talk about my uncle tonight. I expected a more extended introduction, but right after showing us to the rooms, Alpha Ken had to leave. The alpha position is demanding, so I cannot blame him for being busy. The guards each have their own room, and so do I. My guest room is in the middle of the hallway, while one guard is directly across and the other is beside. It makes me feel secure to be somewhat surrounded instead of possibly at the very end of the hall by myself. Maybe Alpha Ken was thinking about my comfort. I set my small bag on the bed and sit down. Taking the phone that Sebastian gave me before leaving out of a pocket, I hesitate on whether I should call or not. He is probably busy anyway, out of the house by the borders most likely. I place the phone on the bedside table and lay down. Maybe I should get some sleep. The night is upon me, and Alpha Ken arrives home. He tells me to meet him down in his office, so I wander around the house until I hear his voice faintly down a hallway. Feeling very out of place, I head towards the door and knock. Instead of hearing a come in, the door suddenly opens, causing my heart to jolt, and Alpha Ken motions for me to enter. He sets me down in a chair before taking the one across from me, leaving his desk seat empty. All right, my uncle, he says to himself. What would you like to know? Taking a minute to collect myself, I wonder how Alpha Ken moves around so quickly from one thing to the next. Well, no. How about you tell me why you are so interested in my uncle to begin with? I nod. He has a vendetta against my family. My grandmother was in love with your grandfather, but something happened and she somehow ended up impaling him in the chest. I fib while holding my tongue. He does not need to know what happened and how she actually ended up impaling him. So your grandmother is the one who killed my grandfather, he says with some type of realization. Her name was Elizabeth, yes. I was told a few things, but I am sure you have the other side of the story, don't you? My grandmother told your grandfather something that upset him and he tried to kill her. She only fought back to defend herself. I explain, abandoning my rule of only sharing as little as possible. And what did she tell him? I should have expected this. I don't know. She never told me. Alpha Ken's golden eyes watch me closely. He knows that I am lying, but surprisingly, he does not push the question any further. All right, well, my uncle was the one who found him. He saw your grandmother run off into the forest. He wanted to kill her. I'm sure my memory is a little foggy, as my mother told me all of this when I was young and curious, but the family stopped him from doing so. Why did your family stop him? Weren't they enraged also? It deeply saddened them, but my grandfather was unstable like my uncle is now, so they assumed it was all his fault. He often acted dramatically. He was mentally gone since a young age. My family knew your grandmother, and after the death it caused a split in the middle of them. Half blamed her, and the other half blamed him. My father believed he was at fault, while my uncle believed she was, and it drew them apart. Drew them apart? How so? Simply because they believed in different outcomes, I ask, incredibly intrigued. My uncle and my grandfather were very close. They had a relationship that my father and he could never have had. When my uncle discovered that my father blamed my grandfather, he became outraged. He thought his brother had betrayed their father. It was like my grandfather brainwashed my uncle. He would trust anything that left his lips. So my father and uncle began a feud. After my grandfather had died, my father was to take his place, but my uncle attacked him, killed him, and took the alpha position. I'm sorry, that's terrible. I breathe out, taking in the fact that the alpha had killed his own brother. I was only an infant when this all happened. I did not know him long enough to truly miss him, so it is all right. So what, he just became alpha like that? Alpha Ken sits back. You don't know much about packs, do you? I'm learning. He nods and claps his hands together. If the alpha is killed, the next in line takes over, even if the alpha was murdered by the successor. That's unreal, I cry. Yes, he stops me. It's wrong, but it is how things are. Why didn't anyone take it from him? It is not easy to kill an alpha. I managed to take over 9 years ago after he disappeared, and even before then his presence was spotty. He pauses for a moment. You know it is getting late. We will continue tomorrow. I take the time generously and return to my guest room to think everything over. The Alpha Ken's uncle had disappeared 9 years ago. 9 years ago, my mother, father, and I had already left the pack, but Alpha Ken did say his presence was inconsistent. Could he have been watching my mother for that first year and then decide to take up stalking full-time? It all seems to match up perfectly. The Alpha is insane, just as his father was. He found him dead. He wants to avenge him. He felt betrayed by his own brother, so he killed him. It all gives me chills. My grandmother told me what only my mother and she could know. Alpha Ken told me only what his mother and father could have known, which continues to leave holes where answers still need to be filled, holes only the Alpha can fill. His mind, I have to get as close to it as possible, so I will continue with Alpha Ken tomorrow and figure out if I can uncover more. If I want to stop him, I have to know how he thinks. Grabbing the phone from the bedside table, I find Sebastian's contact and press the call button. He had to teach me how to use the phone before I left, which was interesting. The entire process made me feel like my grandmother. Sebastian, I question into the device after the ringing comes to an end. Is everything all right? Did you arrive safely? Is Alpha Ken treating you properly? The questions come in rapid fire before I can answer one. Yes, and no, wait. Yes, I correct myself swiftly. Everything is fine. Is there any news on my grandmother? No, his voice, though barring bad news, calms me. The guards are still coming up empty-handed. I fall back against the bed. Really? Yes, really. I'm sorry, I wish I had something positive to tell you. Alpha Ken, did he help you at all? Actually, a lot. The history behind all of this is more intricate than I thought, and the Alpha, he has somehow become more frightening. You are okay there by yourself? I roll over onto my elbows and gaze out the window with the phone against my ear. Yes, I'm fine. The nightmares, I cut him off, not wanting him to worry. I'll be okay, Sebastian. Please don't fret over me. He takes a breath, almost for the both of us. I cannot help it. You are always on my mind. I miss you too. I knew I would. I say softly. They say absence makes the heart grow fonder, but at least I still have your voice. Oh, now I want to come home. If you have a nightmare, please call. I will answer right away, okay? Our conversation continues until a good night leaves us both, and I set the phone off to the side again. Laying on the bed with the light now off, I argue with myself if I have the energy to change. The sky tonight does not look real. It resembles more of a painting with a bleached moon and glittering stars not diffused by the brightness of the moon. It is a cloudless night, not a speckle of smoke in the distance, and I find myself staring. The world is a mesmerizing, beautiful place filled with hatred and ugly souls. Though I understand this part of me, a dying part does not want to accept it. As a child, I knew nothing, and now I know only something, yet it feels like enough. But as I look out at this hypnotic night sky, my eyes trickle down, the trees tumbling from branch to branch until they reach the forest floor. It is ways away from the house, but the forest line is still visible from my window. It is then that I swallow and hold my breath when my eyes study the brush, the foliage. They stare back at me, yellow orbs in a sea of black. Nearing the glass, I press my hand against it, and the orbs move a tinge, now peering through the leaves of a rather large bush. I squint all to see the shadowy blur a little clearer. The dark figure lurks into view, causing my heart to tense, and I back away. Immediately, I grip the curtain and yank it closed, blocking my eyes from the bone-chilling sight. Finally, I see what I was waiting for. I walk freely along the path into the heart of the pack, with my guards following strictly behind me. With each step, I wait for something to be set off, some triggering effect in my mind to suddenly release all memories of this place from when I was a child. With each step, I am pulled further away from Alpha Ken's house, but I continue with no plan of stopping. Am I supposed to feel lost here? Though I did not venture off much, a part of me is still hoping for a familiar building or area. It is when I come up to a set of homes that my fingers begin to tremble, shaking slightly with anticipation. Finally, something familiar. The air smells of something I have tasted before, something pliable so I can bend it to mean what I want. I continue along and study each house as we pass by, gazing up the structures from foundation to roof. My eyes act as a metal detector, waiting for an alarming beeping noise to yell that I have found something valuable, something memorable. My feet mold footprints in the slightly muddy dirt beneath them as it rained last night, and I heard every bit of it. I hardly got an hour of sleep. The childish fear of a nightmare was keeping me up, and I could not selfishly call my mate as he must have things to do in the working while I do not. Alpha Ken gave me the day to wander about while he does whatever it is he has to do before we start where we finished off with our conversation last night. Naturally, I agreed and dressed for the colder weather before heading outside. This particular temperature makes me think about snow and if it will happen. I have seen, felt, and played in snow before, and I enjoyed it especially as a child. Something about the white, smooth blanket draped across the forest makes me feel lost, yet in a good way. Coming up to another set of buildings, I scan them again, waiting for the beep. With an absurd amount of time to waste, I do not become disappointed when nothing triggers the sensation inside of me, the familiar own. The guards continue to trail behind me, and my curiosity flares at the sight of People Pack members. Instead of shying away, I pick up speed. I am not planning on talking to them or waving or smiling, but whatever happens, happens. Since I will most likely never see these people again, I take the opportunity to practice my public skills, how I will act among others who are not Sebastian Henry, my grandmother, Fiona Marina, or Alpha Ken. It is a made-up skill in my head, but it gives me something to do while I wait. I walk by, they look at me, I look back at them, I pass, and that is all. Luna, is there something in specific you would like to do? Will, one of the guards whose name I learned this morning, asks, and I shake my head. Then I see it, my familiar triggering building, and the beeping rings in my head like an alarm clock. It is more than I ever could have hoped to remember. My childhood home. Without a single thought abandoning Sebastian's rule, I hurry towards the house like it is set on fire and people need rescuing. The white color now looks to be off-white and there are small chips in the paint, but it is overall a bundle of memories. The guards ask what I am doing when I rush up the steps and walk along the tiny porch, running my hand along the railing, expecting a splinter but getting none. This was my house, I tell them. Turning to the door, I suddenly knock while holding my breath. No one answers. I knock again, turning blue. Again, no answer. With an urge, I turn the handle and the door slips open, revealing little of its holdings. Luna, I do not know if you should go in there. As if the rules do not apply to me, I peek my head in and steal a quick glance. It is empty. No one lives here. Before I know it, the walls pull me in and I disappear from view as the house swallows me up. Ignoring the guard's rapid footsteps, I steadily look around, examining the room. This was the living room, and off to the right is the kitchen, so that is where my feet take me next. My fingers feel the flat, sleek countertops and are coated with a thin layer of dust when I tug them away. This place seems to be untouched, maybe since I left. The guards watch me as I venture about, but I tell them to stay downstairs when I finally reach the steps. They obey, and I begin to climb. Not bothering to look into each room, my feet come to a halt in front of the attic entrance. Mindlessly, I tug down the attic ladder and gaze up at the dusty space. Finally, taking a much-needed deep breath, I reach out and grip onto the ladder, fully committed to achieving the closure I deserve. With each step, my heart seems to pound harder, almost pushing me onward. My eyes peer into the open space, seeing a streak of light cast on the floor from my all-too-familiar window. It feels like a dream as I push myself up to stand inside, almost not knowing what to do or how to carry myself. Dust particles invade the air, leaving no room for anything else. The attic is empty besides the painful sight of my old stripped bed frame set in the corner. You no longer belong here, she tells me. I saunter to the window and press my hands against it as I look out in the same stance I was in as a young child. Below is empty except for the group of people down the path. The sun seems duller through this window, through this smudged and dusty glass. I know I murmur still, taking in the sight of it all. Are you not happy with what I have given you? Are you not fulfilled by your mate, refusing to look back at her? I keep my eyes looking effortlessly out the window. I am fulfilled. I am falling in love with him. Then why are you back here, she asks. But here reminds me of them. They lived here. We lived here together. This is all that's left of them that I can feel, that I can touch. There is an emptiness inside of me where they used to be, and I thought that maybe being here would make that hole feel filled, at least for a little while. But I was wrong. It only makes the emptiness grow. I peer back at her. I miss them, my parents. I miss what it feels like to have them, and I know that every day I forget a bit of that feeling. People will come and go, and you will not always get to choose who those people are. All you can do is move on and continue to live life while you can. What if he leaves me? The Alpha, he is taking everyone from me. What if he takes him too? We lose the ones we love. My eyes observe her. I cannot lose him. I will not lose him. I join the guards back downstairs and I flee the house without muttering a word. This time when we pass the people, I smile and surprisingly they smile back. Later at night, after I had eaten a dinner which was kindly cooked for me by Alpha Ken's housekeeper, I find myself walking back to Alpha Ken's office. This time I am told to wait for him inside alone instead of him already being there. I do not mind though, as his housekeeper said that he should be back in a few minutes. Hesitantly, I gently enter and patiently wait in the exact spot I was in before. My eyes roam about the room when they are suddenly snatched by a familiar book with a green cover. The shelves are packed tightly, and I sneak over to get a closer look. Taking some sort of risk, I work the book out of its slot and read the cover. Lycanthrope mythology. How pleasant. This will surely make time go by quicker. Hopefully Alpha Ken does not mind. I take the book back to my seat and I flip to where I left off in Sebastian's copy, specifically a page talking about silver and silver stones. Oddly, there seems to be a marker tucked in between the pages, and I open it at the particular crevice. My eyes deceive me at the memorable title written at the top of the page, Daughters of the Moon Goddess. My muscles twitch as my tongue runs dry. Suddenly the door opens. Evangeline, what is this? I question Alpha Ken somewhat accusingly. What is what he asks while sitting down across from me. The marker on this page, I do not even know the book you are holding, he says so. I flash him the cover. Lycanthrope mythology, how interesting. I did not know we had such books in here. There are so many that I tend to leave them alone. So, you didn't leave this marker here. No, those books have been here for generations. Anyone could have done that, really. Now, did you want to get on with my uncle or talk about mythology? I sigh and set the book off to the side, forcing myself to let go of it for now. Your uncle, please. How he acted before he disappeared would be great. How he acted, well, very odd. It was almost like half of him was here and the other was off somewhere else worrying about goddess knows what. For as long as I can remember, he has been mentally absent. My mother and I moved away for a while. She could not stand the sight of my uncle and she did not want him around me. My mother passed and I came back only a year before his disappearance. Why did you come back? He exhales. I had lost my family, and I knew this pack was the only place where I could find a relative or anyone that knew who I was. When I got here, everything was going haywire. Rogues were getting past borders, and no one knew where the Alpha was. Someone asked who I was, and when I told them I was taken to the Beta, he shared with me his plan to take down the Alpha, as he even knew that my uncle was no good. The Beta said that I would take over, and since I had nowhere else to go, I agreed to help him. For months, we tried to take him down without my uncle suspecting anything, but as time went on, we saw him less and less. The Beta was practically running the pack while teaching me how to be an Alpha. It was all one big mess. Whenever my uncle came home, he would take over and set us back, ruining everything we had done in his absence. And no one knew where he was running off to. No one, he assures me. One day he simply never came back, and eventually the pack decided to move on, needing a new leader. I took the position, and that was the last of it. Without him, this pack has flourished. I sit back in my seat and taking in the new information. I believe your uncle is trying to kill me, possibly my mother, and I think he has killed my grandmother. I believe he was following my mother, planning something during all that time he was not here. Will you tell me why? Hesitantly, I nod and grab the book from the table beside me. Turning to the marker, I hand it to him with the pages displayed, and after looking over it, Alpha Ken gives me a questioning expression. Not everything in the book is accurate. I trust you. I believe you are not like your uncle at all, so I am going to be honest. I communicate with the moon goddess like the women of that myth. Alpha Ken closes the book. Really, you're serious? I know it sounds ridiculous, but that's what my grandmother told your grandfather before he tried to kill her. Somehow, your uncle must have found out about it, and I believe he wants to end this genetic line so no others like myself or my grandmother can be born. He wants to kill us off. Your mother does not have the ability. No. It skips around. Your uncle must not know that, though. Why would he want to kill you and your mother if your grandmother was the one who killed his father? Simply because he thinks you all share the ability, he asks. Well, your grandfather believed that we have an absurd amount of power like the book states, but we don't. He wanted to kill my grandmother because he feared that she would use these powers to take the pack from him. All right, so you are trying to kill my uncle before he kills you and your mother. Killing is very well. I was hoping I could try to Alpha Ken interrupts my failing answer. If you are right about all of this, then I am not sure convincing him to think otherwise is possible. Clearly, he has dedicated most of his life to you and your family, and this has obviously grown into an obsession. How do you plan on stopping him anyway? This is kinda as far as my idea went, learning more about him. You don't know much about me, but I'm not used to all this killing talk like it's normal. Death used to mean something. Alpha Ken sighs and sits forward. I can help you, and once he is caught, I will handle it. Really, I ask, grateful and dazed at the same time. Why he killed my father, destroyed my mother, nearly wrecked this pack. I can't say that I will not enjoy handling the situation. It should feel wrong to plan someone's death. Though I am not doing the dirty part, I am still a part of it all yet. Guilt is not seeping into my head, my heart making me feel as if I am being consumed from the inside. Here, right now with Alpha Ken, I do not feel guilty for what we are about to devise. Should I? He is after you lately, yes, I nod. But I don't think he is alone. Where is your mother? I don't know. I haven't seen her in a long time. All I know is that she too was paranoid, thinking that your uncle was watching her, and all I explain, not focusing entirely on the subject of my mother. Maybe we can lure him in. Set you out on unclaimed land, and no, I cut in. He isn't just taking any chance to kill me. I have been out in the open, he has had opportunities, but he doesn't take them. I can't figure out why. Could he be waiting for something Alpha Ken's hands fall underneath his chin? Possibly, though I am not sure how we are supposed to figure out what exactly he is waiting for. He pauses, then comes back, fueled and energized by some idea. Now could be his chance. He could have been waiting for a distance between you and your mate. It is a possibility and could be worth a test. How do we test it? As I said before, we place you out in the unclaimed land alone and wait to see if he bites. And if he does, what will happen to me? Don't worry, he assures me. I'll have men surrounding you. Won't he smell them? No, because we will mask their scents. It is an old trick. It does not last too long, so we will have to move quickly. I take a breath, using the moment to refresh myself and pull my head back to earth. What about Sebastian, my mate? I have to ask him. Make sure this is something he will agree with. Evangeline, Sebastian will never agree to let you do anything close to this. But you are mates. He will not knowingly place you in a dangerous situation. If you are truly committed to ending my uncle and his obsession, then you will also have to commit to lying. It is for the best, is it not? What if something goes wrong? What if he never forgives me? You don't understand. He's always trying to protect me, always trying to make sure that I am as safe as possible. He wasn't going to let me come here alone, but he finally agreed, because I have 2 guards following me around wherever I go. My safety is everything to him. Listen, I may not understand what it is like to have a mate, but you are living in fear. I can see it in your eyes when you talk about him, Sebastian. You said my uncle might have killed your grandmother. You fear that he will take your mate next, don't you? I stay quiet. You cannot wait for the day when he finally comes and ends you. You have to fight back now and with help, and I am willing to give that to you. Biting my tongue, I nod. It has to happen tomorrow. He is expecting me home the next day. Alpha Ken leans back. I'll see what I can do. For now, get some sleep. Try not worry about a thing. If you talk to Sebastian, act like everything is normal, like tomorrow is just like any other day, all right? Okay? Sebastian, I cannot wait for you to come home tomorrow. His voice soothes me, making my raging nerves settle for a while. My heart has grown too fond, if that is possible. Today will go by quick, okay? Just focus on work, and I promise it will be morning before you know it. A smile lights up my dreary face. I can't wait to tell you everything when I get back. Was the trip worth it? At night when I am lying awake, no, but when I am talking with Alpha Ken, definitely. I have learned so much, and when I get back, I'm sure all of our problems will be solved. You sure are confident in what he is telling you. I watch Alpha Ken from the guest room window. He is talking with his guards, most likely setting everything up, putting the pieces in place for our test. It is good information, very useful. Alpha Ken's eyes suddenly find mine, and he waves for me to come down. I have to go, but I'll call you tonight, I promise. His tone changes. Is everything all right? You sound rushed. Everything is fine. Alpha Ken is just ready for me now. I don't want to waste time before he has to get back to work. Okay, I'll talk to you tonight. Okay, stay safe, he says before the line goes dead, and my heart wrenches in my chest. I place the phone down and quickly leave the room, but in the hallway my guards emerge and stop me. Where are you off to, Luna? Oh, I am just talking with the Alpha again, I lie. Don't worry. I'll be downstairs in his office. If I want to go for another walk, I'll come fetch you, all right. They let me past, and I leave them with my smile before it fades from my face. Rushing outside, I see Alpha Ken and hastily walk over. He notices me and meets me halfway. Hurdle in the hallway, no sorry. I'm here now, so where do we start? I am assuming you dealt with that mate of yours, I nod. All right. Right now we are going to walk over to the southern border where everything is going to happen, he explains as I follow him. There will be 6 guards set up around you, shifted and masked. You will not look at them or do anything that could suggest that there are others around you. If you are right, if he or someone working for him is constantly watching you, then we might have a chance. Wouldn't they know what we are planning then? He shakes his head. Hopefully not. I doubled border watch and had groups sweep the area early this morning. They found a rogue, and he refused to say anything, which benefits us greatly. If my uncle has rogues watching you, then we might have caught today's worker. Hopefully he goes out looking for him and then falls into our trap. Even if he was not planning on killing you today, the opportunity is just too good to pass up. We join the trees and my stomach rises. I'm nervous. Remember, if anything happens, the guards are around you. Sunlight leaks through the trees and sprays in my eyes, blinding me or seconds at a time as we near the border. The trees are nearly bare as the last few leaves hang on. The ones on the ground are sparse, most of them carried away by the wind, leaving no satisfying crunch as I step. Alpha Ken comes to a stop in the center of a small clearing, hardly anything noticeable. Where are the guards, I ask while looking around. They are already in place, hidden with masked scents. How do you mask their scents? A mixture of herbs, I do not make it, but too much will kill you, yet just enough will mask a scent for around hour, he explains. Do not worry about it. You did not know they were here, did you? No. Then everything is good. You are going to stand, sit, whatever you please, just stay in the clearing. I will be at the border post. Once everything is done, 2 of the guards will take you back to the house while my uncle is brought to me. At the house, you can do whatever to want, just do not leave the house, all right? All right. What do I do if he comes? You don't have to do anything. Let him come close enough and the guards will attack. Okay? When should I be ready? Now, he says abruptly, and my heart jolts. Now wait, but do not panic. All you have to do is stand right here if that makes things sound easier. We will wait an hour, and if nothing happens, we will try again tonight. My surroundings are eerily quiet, making me genuinely doubt if there are guards around me. If anything, I feel alone out here waiting for my death, like cheese on a mousetrap. I don't know about this. No one knows if he is even going to show up. It is just a test. Alpha Ken looks directly into my eyes before repeating just a test. He walks away, leaving me stranded in the ocean of unknown. I watch him until he grows too tiny and disappears from my sight. My eyes discreetly search around the nearby brush for any signs of life, any sign of fur and canines ready to dig into the alpha's flesh. I feel utterly exposed. Everything is going to be okay, I whisper, while imagining myself at home with Sebastian. That is where I will be tomorrow, after all of this is over, in Sebastian's arms. After a while, not knowing how many minutes later, I sit down on the grass and pick at the blades, thinking that no one is going to come. We will have to try again tonight, I suppose. Do I actually think the Alpha is going to appear? It is a 50-50 chance. Alpha Ken said the opportunity was simply too good, but he has passed on others before, such as my walk back to the house from the slain guard. Maybe he wants to wait until nighttime. Maybe he wants to wait in general. I sigh and drop the plucked strands of grass back to the forest floor. An hour has never felt so long. At first, I was practically twitching with fear, but now the entire test seems pointless. The Alpha is smarter than this. He has to be. A growl snatches my attention and my head shoots up in the direction of the noise. Immediately, I stand up. Hello, I call out, forgetting all that Alpha Ken told me. Another growl louder than before erupts from my right side as something comes into my view. Suddenly, 2 large wolves come thrashing into the clearing, biting, wrestling, and snarling. Quickly, I back away and stare horrifyingly at the battling pair. Frantically, I search around for the guards or Alpha Ken until more wolves catch my eye. Something is wrong. This is an ambush. Alpha Ken, I yell and run in the direction we came in. Breathing heavily, I weave my way through the trees before hearing a scream. My feet come to a halt. Another scream. It is a female, and something about it is playing with my head. We have to get back. My wolf shouts at me, fearing the unknown sensations of death. I know that voice. If we stay out here, we're going to die. Without thinking, I ignore my wolf and rush in the opposite direction back into the commotion. The voice, I have to follow it. Something inside of me recognizes the sound and will not rest until I solve the mystery. Staying in the trees and not cutting through the clearing, I follow the cries. Lifeless beasts lay unmoving on the ground, and I only have a moment to look at them, only a moment to picture myself in their place. Another scream bursts in my ears, tugging me away from the fighting animals, leading me further into the unclaimed land. The screams replay in my mind, tauntingly reeling me in. "Where are you?" I call out into the canopy. Evangeline, my eyes grow wide. Dashing off in the specific direction, all my thoughts flush from my mind. It cannot be. I squint at the figure in the distance. A woman. "Evangeline," she yells. My face flushes with heat. "I'm here," I cry. "I'm here," running towards her. The woman turns and my eyes cannot register the sight before me. It is a dream. "Evangeline," she motions for me to come, for me to hurry. "We have to go." Tears blur my vision as I reluctantly step closer to the ghostly being. My hand reaches out to her face, feeling the warmth and life against my palm. "Where have you been?" I ask softly, not knowing how to carry myself. "Where did you come from? I missed you so much." She caresses my cheek, brushing the tears from my hot skin. "This isn't real," I murmur. "This isn't real, is it?" Her hands grab my own and squeeze them in her grasp. "I'm here, but we have to go." "Wait. I have a mate. He's the alpha of the Tate pack." Just that way, I point with my hand. "And Grandma, she's missing. I don't know where she is." "The alpha, he's after me, just like he's after you." Alpha Ken is going to kill him," I try and explain to her, though none of this feels real. "Where are we going?" There is a pained expression on her face, and she is battling it. "To your father, he is just over the hill." She tugs me in the direction, but I stop her. "My mate, he needs me. We have to go to him. He'll protect us. We have to go." I follow her. "Where are we going with Dad?" "To my mate. Please hurry." As we head up the hill, my mind feels lost, as if I am not controlling my body or thoughts. Why do we have to hurry? At the bottom of the hill is a man, a stranger. My mother pulls me towards him, though I do not want to go anywhere near him. I do not stop her. When we reach the base, she lets go of my hand, letting my arm drop to my side. My eyes stare at him, confused. This is not my father. "Where is Dad?" I ask her, but she is looking away from me, not giving me any sign that she heard me. "Hello, Evangeline," the stranger speaks up. "It is nice to meet you properly." She stays turned away from us both. "Who are you?" "I am Victor," he tells me calmly. "I don't know you." "Oh, but you do. Just not like this." My heart begins to race in my chest, and I step away from the older man. "Just get it over with," she shouts at the stranger, distressed, making my head spin. My eyes shift between the two of them. What's happening? Abruptly, something heavy and blunt collides with my head, and my body goes limp, falling to the tough ground. My eyes roll up to the sun before a thick darkness overcomes me. With my eyes closed, I can still visualize her beautiful face, the face I grew up gazing at. My mother, I saw her standing right in front of me, as if the past has suddenly changed and now she was in it. My years with grandmother are replaced with figments of my imagination, ones including her and all the pretend things we did. The memory of my abandonment is forgotten and replaced with this new one, the sight of her calling my name, of her reaching out to me, and then of her towering figure as I lay helpless on the patchy grass. The sight of her has given me a new hope, causing me to forget about the confusing events leading up to my slumber. If my mother is all right, then my father must be too. I have a chance at a real family again. Suddenly, the bad alpha is the least of my worries as my mind drifts to images of the three of us living, growing, loving. They can meet Sebastian, Henry, Marina. They can join Sebastian's pack and stay with me forever. Never again will I feel unwanted. She called for me and led me from the attack. She cares for me. My mother loves me as a mother should. In this moment, I am fulfilled. All my dreams are shifting to reality, all with a single glimpse of her face. There is a softness beneath me and covering me also. My head begins to wake as my eyes study the smears of light cast on them. There is a pounding in my skull, shaking me up and bringing my eyes to a quick flutter. My lashes act as wings, shading and exposing me to the harsh light beyond my lids until my eyes are tolerant of the gleam. My hand pulls out from my side so I can rub my knuckles and fingers against my face. As my conscience returns, I find myself searching the room, temporarily limited to the ceiling. My toes curl and flex, my legs stretch and bend, everything works but my head. My head throbs. My hand reaches up to nurse the bump, but touch does not seem to smooth it but make the pounding worse. I am in a bed. Not my own, some unknown bed, as my surroundings are frighteningly unfamiliar. In a panic, my body sits up swiftly, which makes my head spin with a foggy dizziness. My stomach rises, and I have the urge to vomit. I feel as if my body and mind has endured a never-ending battle, and my stomach is in protest of any movement. After rolling onto my side, I scan my surroundings more thoroughly. Beside the bed is a nightstand, and across the room is a love seat, one with a calm pattern showing deep tones of red and pink. There is a short table in front of the love seat holding nothing but a vase of dying flowers. The entire setup reminds me of a hotel room, unhomely and nerve-wracking. In a second attempt, I force my body up again, this time staying up. I brush my knotted hair from my face as I locate the door. My mother, I have to find her. With a surge of determination, I swing my legs off the side of the bed and inch myself forward until my feet meet the cool, hard ground, making my legs wobble like a child learning to walk. My hands grip the bedding, my fists dig down into the mattress, and I steady myself. My eyes circle in on the door, ready to aim for the target and shoot. I get the feeling people get when they wake up too quickly, a light head and upset stomach. My hand grips the door, handle tightens, turns, stops, tugs, then nothing. I try again. Nothing. The door is locked. Someone has locked me in a room. Did my mother do this? Why would she do this? Leaning against the wall, I struggle to conjure a reasonable explanation. I remember things, only a few things, but things overall, and I remember coming to the base of the hill, spotting the strange man. He was not my father. He was of high rank, I could feel it. Then what I cannot remember. My aching head is a clue. I scrunch my face as I think, coming up with two reasonable explanations. One, I fell and hit my head on a rock or other thing, equally as rigid. Two, someone attacked me from behind, likely threw something at me. Then again, since when did I trust strangers? My mother spoke to him. I cannot recall what she said, but she said something. Maybe she knew him well. Maybe I do not have a reason to expect him. Or maybe he heard us both. Maybe my mother is trapped away in some other room, mimicking me. Where am I exactly? How did I get here? Where is my mother? Where did she take me? Did she take me here? Why am I so alone? Where's my wolf? Why won't you answer, moon goddess? By now I should have a clearer mind. I woke maybe 10 minutes ago. Why do I still feel this dreadful tiredness? There are too many answers being kept from me, and I cannot uncover them on my own in this room. My body slides down against the wall, my legs already overwhelmed from standing. I abruptly hit the floor, not strong enough to lift myself back up, not without time. I feel weak. I feel exhausted. I feel disoriented. Again, I attempt to move, needing more than one try. I place my hands on the floor, scoot forward away from the wall, lift up onto my knees, crawl as far as I can towards the tacky love seat until I need to stop. My strength and energy deplete by the minute. I feel drugged. Confusion engulfs me as my eyes wearily open again, this time on the bed, though there is a difference, there is proof of a presence. The bed is made, I am merely laying on top of the bedding, then underneath like the first time. This is all a bizarre dream, is it not? I know plenty about night terrors, and this feels like one, but slightly more alive. The real question is, where did the dream begin? When I saw my mother, when I arrived at Alpha Ken's, when I had my first nightmare, when I met my mate, or the most frightening, when I crossed the stream, somewhere in some other universe. There is a girl laying in a stream dreaming. I am allowed no concept of time, no clock, no window, only the artificial light hanging above my head, casting a yellow film across the room. In however long it has been, all I have accomplished is an attempt to leave and failure. Though I do not have many options when it comes to acts of heroism. Maybe instead of me saving my mother, she will be the one saving me. Any second now she will burst through the door and explain everything sloppily as we attempt an escape. We may run into trouble 2 or 3 times before we defeat the final boss, but the bad alpha will soon lay helplessly at our feet. Mother and daughter saving the day. I am drugged. Something surges through my veins that leaves me helplessly and unconsciously idiotic. A child placed in a crib. All I can do is grow and imagine scenarios of nothingness. Alpha Ken, the thought hits me hard as I stare at the ceiling once again. Alpha Ken, I remember him and his plan to capture the bad alpha, and suddenly I am here. My mother's face is the image burned into my brain, but now I see more. I see myself running towards her. She called for me during a surprise attack. The bad alpha did not fall for our trick, but instead he brought his own men to defend himself. And my mother, she was there at the opposite end, standing with a man I had never seen before. Thinking this critically gives my head a spin, making it difficult to hold on to the newly regained thoughts. I squeeze my eyes shut to focus. My mother was standing with the man. Could it have been? No, it could not have. Was my mother standing with the bad alpha himself? Then I was right. He did capture her along with me. She called for me to run away with her, but the alpha caught us both before we could escape. That means my mother is trapped somewhere here also. The door taunts me, shaking in joy as it traps me here. Then the handle turns and I realize I am not just imagining this. The door is opening. It glides across as I struggle to focus on it, my head still tampered with. My heart squeezes. The man from before walks confidently in and I feel a sort of insomnia. I cannot move and he is going to attack me. I wearily push myself up on the bed as my eyes shift in and out of focus on his face. You, I mutter, my throat itchy. My mother. He shushes me as if he is worried about my health. There is no need for you to talk, Evangeline. The stranger drifts into the room, closing the door behind him, making my heart thump heavily like the beast who once haunted my dreams. I'm sure you understand what is happening here. Why you're here. You've been a detective recently. He takes a seat on the love seat. I croak again, my mother. Your mother is fine for now, your father too. We're just waiting on that last guest. His eyes stare into mine and all I can think is how crazy he is. She's gone to fetch him. They should be back any hour now. I thought I'd come to see you since you're up now. There is so much my body and mind are fighting to do, yet it hurts to move. No, I murmur, no. Not him. I slide back down against the headboard like a dying person. I want to ask where I am, where my mother is, what is happening, but my eyes betray me and begin to shut once again, swaying open and closed like curtains, and I power through the urge to sleep. I'll have to thank my nephew for the recipe, but I'm sure they'd given you too much. He's not so smart, that little boy. I could smell that mixture once we arrived. I'd forgotten about it, but it's working quite well in your case. Too much could kill you, but you seem to be fine, Victor says, blinded. I've been watching you, but you already knew that. It was stupid of your mother to lead me to you, but mothers just get so desperate to see their children sometimes, I suppose. Now tell me you don't have any children, do you? I'm not much to kill little ones. My jaw clenches as he continues to throw logs into my fire. Why, he mimics me. Why, what, why everything. You know the story, Evangeline. You've heard it and you've shared it. Daughters of the moon goddess, you, your mother, your grandmother, and everyone before her. I flinch at his sudden burst. You're monsters, all of you. You're killers hidden behind the innocence of women. Witches, demons, all of you. Power-drunk and wiling to take all for yourselves. Things like you need to be exterminated. You're dangerous to our entire kind. I watch him mesmerized. Lies. The man's eyes flood with hatred. It is something that can never be healed. He can never be convinced to see the truth, even if sat down and brainwashed. His own beliefs have become his own addition, and he is a prisoner to it. These truths passed down from his father, read to him from a book, shall rule his life forever. His truths against my family and me have become his God. There is a short, cold moment of silence between us before he stands up and leaves the room, leaving me alone once again. I realize that Alpha Ken was right, that killing someone may be the only solution. The animalistic side of me, the dark part that lurks in the shadows of my mind like the beast she is, creeps forward due to this. She feeds off of this. She grows excited knowing that his fate will come, and it will come delivered through her own hands. The door to the room opens again, and a man I do not recognize comes to collect me. That man, Victor, said that we were waiting for our last guest, and all I can do now is believe that my love has arrived. He had toyed with my heart by telling me my mother and father are in the building, and after he left my room about 3 hours ago, a panicky guess they were all I could think about. Somewhere in here, somewhere trapped in these same walls, my parents sit alive. Once the first year had passed at grandmother's, I had given up waiting for them to come knocking on her door. Part of me always thought they had died somewhere and somehow, and I would never discover why or how they did. It would be a mystery embedded in my mind for the rest of my life, one whose importance would die over time, but one that would always be there. Again, my future has been flipped. It all started to change once I hopped over that stream and once I crossed onto his land. He was the key to a different path, and I took it obliviously, not thinking about where this would leave me. Even if I did think about it, I would have never imagined myself here. The bulky man holds me tightly as we walk down a dim hallway, one that is plain and concerning. My legs have begun to work again while I waited for the last guest, and I assumed the mixture had worn off. Victor's words about too much of a dose had frightened me, but my mind reminded itself that he was not gathering my parents and my love for kicks. There is something he is pulling together, and I need to be alive for it. The hallway is silent besides the maddening thud of our footsteps running over and over again in my mind, and when we come to a halt, I still hear them. My head lifts up to see a door in front of us, and the man behind me leans forward, keeping his grip on my arm, and turns the knob, dragging the door open. It is brighter inside the room as artificial lights in every corner flare up against the walls. Then some small, sad, real sound comes to me from one of the corners, and I see my mother there, crouched down, hidden away like a ghost of herself. Her eyes peer up at me, and she breaks down even more. I do not know what to say, if I am allowed to say anything. Evangeline, a masculine voice, calls to me from the other side of the empty room, and in the opposite corner of my mother, I see my father. He too is jammed in the corner like dust kicked to the side. "My baby," he whispers to himself, but there is nothing to block his voice from making it to me. He looks different, like a stranger, but familiar in odd ways. Just before I scratch up a word, the guard who walked me here pushes me down into my corner and takes a pair of heavy cuffs from the loop in his pants. He roughly fastens them around my wrist, brings my hand behind my back, and locks the other cuff to a metal half-circle in the ground, one that, eye down. The entire act seems quite bizarre, and my clearing mind cannot help but focus on the fact that this maniac bolted such things to the floor, all to hold people down. This must be some sort of prison room. My head recklessly hits the wall as I realize the cuffs have been dashed with silver, painfully burning my skin and returning me to such times in a cell back at the Tate Pack. With a winced expression, I gaze over at my two parents, and they do not seem affected by it anymore, and I wonder how long they have been chained down. My father watches me like a man observing something extinct, while my mother cannot bear to look at me. In that strange moment, I hear more footsteps from the hall, this time being on the inside, and the louder they get, the more my body starts to wake up. It is like small electric shocks to my heart. The door opens into the white room, and through it comes two large men holding my mate. It only takes me one good look to come to terms with the fact that I love him. My mind lingers back to our times in his bed, innocent and bothered, to times of truth and acceptance, and to moments where I knew that my future would be alive with him. I know now that no matter what happens in this room, no matter who makes it out, if any of us do that, the only future I need is with him. Sebastian's eyes find mine, and I know they have injected whatever mixture was inside me into him. He too is brought to the floor and cuffed down. "Evangeline," he calls out dimly, as if he is saying my name into the vast trees still trying to find me. Everything feels like a dream, a hazy dizziness still clinging to my head. Even surrounded by people I love, I feel alone, bare. The moon goddess has disappeared, and my wolf has been shoved into the darkest corner of my mind by the poison and silver. Part of me is expecting the monstrous beast from my nightmares to come bursting through the door, its knotted coat and wretched stench contaminating the room before it tears us all to pieces. But instead of this beast comes the Alpha Victor, the stalker, the stranger, and I realize it is all the same. He enters with pride and strides to the center of the blank chamber, scanning over all he has collected in the past few days. "Perfect," he says to himself. He pulls a sleek silver knife from his waistband and runs the blade between his thumb and pointer finger. "I wanted this to be personal," he says. "Intimate." We all watch him, but Sebastian's eyes stray to me and mine to him. I wish I could tell him that I am sorry. I wish I never agreed to go through with Alpha Kens and my test. I should have been with him, laying in his bed, wrapped in his arms as he stole kisses from me like happy people. It should have ended with me like that. Now I know it is going to end with me like this. I wish I could have stayed sweet for him like a summer peach, ripe and innocent, full of color. I must look as if I am dying, because from the expression on his face it seems that I am. He mouths something to me, but my brain cannot decipher it. I grow desperate to hear his voice. "I killed your grandmother just as she killed my father, the same way, the same struggle." My mother's eyes squeeze shut and my teeth grind against each other. My wrist yanks against the cuff, the metal searing me. "Liar," I call out, regaining myself. Victor turns to me, pressing the tip of the blade into his finger. "Lair, you don't believe that I killed your grandmother with this very blade." He holds it up for me to see. I swallow. "I can see it on your face. My grandmother is too smart to be killed by such a man. I know that she is alive, I know that she made it, and this brings me some hope." She was not scared when she killed his father. She was wild. This seems to touch him in the wrong way, and he orders one of his men from the door to free my mother from her cuff, and this makes me nervous. I observe as he unlocks her, and as he lifts her up and steadies her like a glass figurine. The man walks her to the center of the room and Victor takes hold of her, grabbing her arm. She shakes beside him, her eyes staring at the knife in his other hand. My father inches forward but is inevitably held by his own cuff. Please, he says, trying to get Victor's attention, but he gives him none. Shall I reenact it for you, Victor says, carefully looking intensely at me with beady eyes. My mother lets out a healthy sob, letting us know that we have all crossed over into dangerous territory. Stop, I say firmly, that's enough. Now, what are you doing here? What are you doing with them? He lets go of my mother, but she knows better than to return to her corner. My questions threw him off a tad, and I know to stick with it. Don't you know I'm the only one that can speak to her? I hear Sebastian struggle against his cuffs. Clearly, my mate and my father have nothing to do with this. My voice clears, either does my mother. Didn't you know that she can't speak to her? Victor smiles, then chuckles. Is that right? Before anyone can breathe, Victor grips his knife and in one swift motion plunges the blade into my mother's gut. A loud shriek erupts from deep within me, and my father shouts as if the knife had gone into him instead. My mother's hands flail around the growing splotch of red as she tumbles to the floor and struggles to breathe. Her wheezing clouds my ears as I frantically yank against my cuff, letting the metal slowly burn into my skin. No. 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 No, I murmur restlessly as I yank harder and harder. My father's cries take the place of her struggling and I being to panic. I shoot back to see Victor nearing my mother's limp body. A sudden noise grabs the room's attention as Sebastian breaks the cuff around his wrist and pounces on Victor in one blur, turning from man to wolf. My stomach rises and I feel as if I am going to faint. My father, still attached to the floor, reaches out to my mother's body and drags her closer to him. It is all one hallucination, or that is at least what my mind is telling me. Just wake up. Just wake up. The man who let my mother free of her chains rushes to defend his alpha, and I fear for my mate. Victor is trapped under Sebastian's wolf. If that man hurts my mate, I do not know what I will do. I would lose it. I can feel the heat building up within me like a forest fire spreading. My eyes glare down at the cuff and then to Victor's guard's torn-up clothes as he shifts and joins the fight, tackling Sebastian off of his alpha. Knowing that the keys are somewhere in the mess, I lay down on my side and reach my leg out, my foot dragging the clothes towards me. I take the tattered fabric in my hands, shaking the pieces until the little metal ring falls to the floor. Quickly, I snatch it up and set myself free. I watch for a moment as the guard bites down on Sebastian's shoulder, and I nearly bite the side of my tongue off. He's drugged. This can't happen. Sebastian snaps back harshly, and in 2 more fast movements, the guard's throat is shredded through his teeth. Although the guard is dead, Sebastian struggles to walk. I catch Victor nearing him with the silver knife, and suddenly everything turns red. It only takes 2 seconds for me to lash out. One to shift and dive, and the other to bring Victor down and tear off his face like a bedsheet. The knife hits the floor, but I cannot stop. The metallic taste of another man's blood soaks in my mouth as I dig into his neck. It is some dark high. At this moment, I am a prisoner to my addiction. The animal inside of me has been set free, and I cannot control her urges. Once the man beneath me looks nothing as the such, I shift back and look down on him, remembering the time I saw my first dead body and how it was so terribly mutilated, realizing how I have created something worse. The knife beside me shimmers and I swipe it up, stabbing into the man's flesh, no skin to puncture. How dare you, I cry with each stab. How dare you, my mother, my mother. Ignoring my nakedness, I drop the knife and look up as if to the heavens, maybe to the moon. Look what you've made me do. Look what I've done. Sebastian's hands grab me off of the mess and pull me back. He presses my face into his chest, blocking me from what I had done. My hands, dripping with blood, fall against his warm skin. He was coming at you, I mumble. He had the knife. Sebastian covers my body with his while I struggle to come down from the high. I know after this I will never be the same person. There are 2 sides to me, and today I had met the second. I fear myself. I fear this unknown person inside of me because I know that Victor was right. There is more to my ability than speaking to the goddess. There has always been more. She is dark, she is unforgiving, and she is ruthless, and I am scared of her. Running a brush through my hair while sitting at my mirror, I daydream of what Alpha Ken and I would do tonight. I have been brushing for a while and my hair is completely detangled, but my mind cannot stop wandering to him. I think I may be in love with him, which worries my friends because he is not my mate. They sat me down and told me that as soon as I find my own mate, I will be entirely infatuated with him and forget about Alpha Ken, but I convinced Alpha Ken otherwise, telling him that the moon goddess has made a mistake not pairing us together. He said that I am his true mate, a bond far beyond what the moon goddess could have given us, and promised me that we would rule the pack together. Alpha Ken had lost his mate and told me that it was fate that he'd meet me. Now the moon goddess has told me that she makes no mistakes and that my one true partner is out there, and as always, I am stubborn. At least I can admit it to myself, though. And she promised me that Alpha Ken would leave me with an unfulfilled broken heart which sprouted a grudge, and it continues to grow as she continues to try and lead me on a different path. I love him, I shouted at her, hurt that someone so close to me would not support my choice. You did make a mistake. He's my mate. We're meant to be together. I have not spoken to her in a while, her visits now sparse and short, no longer talking about my inner troubles. The last thing she said to me was, "I am sure you'll find your way," which makes me feel somewhat guilty. She has always been a mother figure to me as I am her daughter, and yelling at her feels worse than when I do so to my birth mother. Though I am sure she will understand the meaning behind my rebellion, as Alpha Ken has put me in a sort of trance, his hypnotizing eyes making my heart cave in. His voice is enough to send me into a deep, beautiful sleep of lush dreams and lucidness. He does not know of my gift, and that is why I had asked him to meet me tonight, so I could confess and be completely open with him as he has been with me. I will probably enchant him with my mysticalness, and he will fall in love with me even more. Just the thought of us together, him the alpha and me the gifted, building the most prosperous pack in existence. My birth mother says I'm a dreamer, and I can only agree. I slip on my coat and shoes as the hour grows near, anxious to see him. Although my plan has gone smoothly in my head over and over again, part of me does worry that he will find me crazy or weird and not magical at all. I just have to remember that he loves me, and I am sure that will keep me brave. When a knock comes to the door, I am quick to answer, coming face to face with him in a flash. He's smiling his charming smile, and I cannot help but catch the disease. Hi, I blush giddy. "Hello, Rachel," he greets and closes the door for me, leading me outside. We walk along the pathway into the trees, immersing ourselves in our own world where no one can bother us. The autumn air keeps us fresh, and I specifically aim my feet at the fallen leaves, loving the crunching sound. Our arms are linked, and I feel like the Luna already wanting to skip over the waiting and jump right into my happily ever after. He won't go into detail when I ask him why we have to wait before announcing our partnership, but he says it is because of his mother and that she is disapproving. I have offered to meet her times and times again, but Alpha Ken only says that he is handling it. I understand that it may be hard for his mother to accept a person who is not her son's mate into the family, but if I could only charm her myself. "You wanted to talk about something?" Alpha Ken asks, taking me from my consuming thoughts. Yes, there's something I wanted to tell you, actually something about myself that you don't know." He glances down at me. "Are you sure that I don't know everything?" He leads me farther into the trees, making me wonder about the border, and if we might run into it. I am thankful for the privacy, though. We may be out here for a while because I am sure I'll have to explain things in great detail for him to register everything. "You don't know this," I say, "I'm sure about that." We come to a stop and I lean against a tree. "Well, go on," he encourages, making me feel confident. The moonlight shines down and is shattered by the many leaves of the forest. I submerge myself in a shadow while he stays in the spotted light. I take a breath before starting my speech, already having prepared it by running over what I would say in my head many times before this night. "Well, you have to keep an open mind, okay? All right." My eyes drift down. Well, I have this ability. It's not like a skill or something that was given to me. I was born with it. I see the moon goddess. I let it out, getting off track of the planned speech and flying off with anxiety. I see her a lot and I talk to her. She tells me things. We talk like we are right now. It's fairly normal, actually, well, besides the fact that she's a goddess and all, and I know this may seem completely made up and that I'm lying, but I am being sincere because I love you. Alpha Ken peers away, making my heart race. I can explain it. It's not as complicated as it sounds. We have a link or bond between us. He holds up his hand, signaling me to stop. "Rachel, I believe you." A shallow breath escapes me. "What? You don't have to talk as if I find you crazy. I believe you. I always knew there was something special about you." We continue to talk and I explain my gift to him, excited yet still a little confused. After he walks me home and gives me a kiss, I head into my bedroom and lay on my bed feeling uneasy. It all felt too easy. We continue to talk about it for days and I answer all of his questions. He asks what I can do, and I tell him over and over again that I am only able to see her and talk to her, but he keeps wondering if I can do more. He seems quite intrigued and curious, and I think to myself that it is better than labeling me a lunatic or a liar. By the end of the month, he tells me that I can become Luna because of my gift, that it deems me worthy of such power. At first, I jumped and sang and laughed because the joy was suffocating me, but the joy ended in sadness after a few days. He only wants me for my gift, I tell myself late at night. He asks to see me in the morning, wanting to talk about our plans for our announcement, but I tell him that I am sick. He offers to leave his duties to take care of me, but I lie and say that a friend is. All I need is time to think it over. Once I am Luna, I cannot abandon the pack. There is no going back. It is nice to dream of being Luna, but now reality is starting to creep up on me. If he only finds me suitable because of my gift, maybe we shouldn't be together. I know he has told me times before that he wants me to be his Luna before he even knew of my gift, but I do not feel right anymore. He is only ready to tell his mother of me before he is confident she will be impressed, which hurts me. He clearly believes I couldn't impress her with just myself. I toss and turn in bed, avoiding daylight and people for the whole day. When night begins to take over and when my stomach feels as if it is eating me alive, I contemplate leaving my bedroom. When my hand grasps the blanket to toss it off of me, a sudden and nerve-wracking sound comes from downstairs. It sounds as if the front door has opened as someone has come inside, so I immediately spring out of bed and run into my closet, needing to think on my feet. Who would be intruding my house? Could it be a friend who knows where the spare key is? Could it be Alpha Ken? With my heart thumping hard, I tiptoe to my bedroom door and peek out of the sliver left to see. Part of me wants to call out if anyone is there, but if it is someone dangerous, the will come right for me. Taking a risk, I gently push the door open, hoping that it doesn't make a sound, and I slip into the hallway, wanting to look down the stairs to see if I can spot anyone. Breathing heavy, I get on my knees and crawl to the first step, staying low as I scan over the limited area. Like a monster, he appears out of nowhere, and I jump back, nearing a heart attack. "You scared me," I shout, angry and shaking. Alpha Ken comes up the steps and says he's sorry again and again as he helps me up. "I just wanted to come see you, but I didn't want to wake you up if you were asleep." I lean against the wall, trying to catch my breath. "You shouldn't be here, I don't want to get you sick." I improvise, not wanting to see him, not wanting him to sway my decision. "You won't be getting me sick," he says, confusing me. "You won't be doing much at all." My brows furrow as my head spins, still in shock. "What are you talking about?" Alpha Ken reaches behind him, touching his back, and I watch as he pulls out a blade from his belt. In one swift movement, he brings it down on me, and I duck out of the way, the silver blade piercing the wall. "What are you doing?" I yell, pushing past him and dashing down the stairs. "You're evil, Rachel," he calls as I run out of the house, but he is following quickly behind me. "I can't let you destroy my pack." Without many thoughts in my head but survival, I head into the trees, still hearing him behind me. Planning to shift, I halt and let my wolf take over, but Alpha Ken tackles me to the ground. My head hits the dirt harshly, and my world fogs up as he brings the blade down on me again. I reach my hands up, holding the knife from my chest, watching the point of it with beady eyes. A scream escapes me as I feel it descending. An inch of the point seems to burn into me, scorching my skin and provoking more cries to leap from my throat. My hands frantically feel around until a rock roughly scratches my palm. I grab it and hit him in the head, distracting him enough to slip away. My bare feet pound against the forest floor as I bury myself inside. The sound of my beating heart blocks any others from getting in, and I feel as if I may faint. "You're a witch, Rachel!" he shouts from behind me. I stumble and trip, but continue to sprint towards the borders, hoping a guard may listen and protect me. Coming up to the lake, I panic of which way to go, and suddenly Alpha Ken grabs hold of my shirt and yanks me backward. He drags me to a tree and pushes me against it, bringing the blade to my neck. "You're a demon," he mutters, his veins popping from his skin. I struggle under his hold, fearing the sensation of death, and manage to knee his gut and crotch. He staggers back and drops the knife. I fly at it like an animal and hold it up at him. He takes a step back, but he is still high off of adrenaline and the fight. Not expecting him to come at me again, I hold the base of the blade against my chest, and he brings me to the ground, falling on top of me. The knife is still straight but stuck. I freeze when I realize it is stuck in his chest. Another scream erupts from my chest, and a heavy panic encumbers me. The weight of his limp body is too much, so I roll him into his back, not letting go of the knife as it stays in him like the sword in the stone. My face flushed and hot, my skin clammy and cold. I grip the blade and yank it from his chest, tumbling back with tears rolling down my cheeks. I have killed the alpha. The sound of people nearing voices growing louder and louder brings me to stand up with wobbling legs. I grab at the bark to stable myself while my heart aches and as my mind is infected with betrayal. Forcing myself to look away from his body, I push myself from tree to tree, needing to escape the guards coming my way. The ground seems to devour my feet and it becomes harder and harder to move along. The moon glares down at me with eyes of fury, furious that its own has committed such a sin. I have killed the alpha. My love, my true partner, had tried to kill me. But why? He loved me. Why would he thrive off of slitting my throat? He said I was a demon, that I was evil, a witch, and that I'd destroy his pack. I knew something was wrong. I knew it was all too perfect, but he said he was amazed that I would make a wonderful and powerful Luna. He saw benefits from my gift, and now he's dead. He lays icy and empty on the forest floor for his guards to find. My hand tightens around the handle of the blade as I stumble through my open door, shutting it quickly behind me and locking it. Not able to move any further, I fall back against the door and slide to the floor, letting the blade fall from my hand. The urge to vomit rises in my stomach as tears continue to drain from my eyes. Smears of his blood cover my hands and I wipe them off on my shirt, not thinking as someone who needs to get away with murder. Throwing my head back through the sobs, I cry, I'm sorry. I should have believed you. I'm sorry. You were right, and now he's dead. He tried to kill me, and now he's dead. I killed him. The next month goes by in a blur, and so does the one after that and the one after that. The pack's reaction to their alpha being killed was as expected, full of sorrow and promises to find the one who did it. Guards came to my house the morning after the incident had happened and questioned me as I had been seen with the alpha a few times. I told them I was homesick and that I had not seen him in weeks, and they left and I sunk back into the house. It cannot be that easy. Alpha Grant had 2 sons, and one of them was named Alpha right away. He had come to my house a week after the guards did, telling me that he knew I was close to his father and that I was welcome to the funeral. I thanked him and did not attend. I was at an age where the chance of meeting my mate was slim to none, but I did. He belonged to my pack and lived on the other side of the packland and worked as a guard. As time went on and as my mate distracted me that night, faded from my mind every now and then, but Alpha Ken's son always kept a close eye and always stayed at a short distance. He knew I had done it. I could see it in his eyes whenever he came around, the dark emptiness that bleeds from them and haunted me. I wondered and wondered why he did not come for me. I had killed his father, and he simply watched me like a hawk always circling above my head. I told my mate of my abilities, and he accepted me. She knew he would. She promised me that with him I should forever feel safe and I shall never fear the circling hawk. Stay with him, the moon goddess told me, always keep him close. We fell in love briskly and deeply and had a daughter named Anne, and she had a daughter named Evangeline. And as he did to me, the hawk shall circle above her head.